you guys hear my fart?
No.
I did. I
Get
just
those
literally
out
just hit
before we
record too.
It's probably too late. Damn it.
This is family friendly, no cursing.
We gotta
Right,
make sure
well,
we
here
send
you
it to
go.
Corey. Make sure we send it to
2023
Corey
Naysayers
too.
play football. What's up?
Did you hear me? Corey, I told Corey about it. He wants a copy.
Okay, yeah, we'll send it to him. All right, so I thought it'd be fun to get a little highlights for us, just get a couple highlights from last season.
This is why you're the
I can
the
leave
maker
for
of
this section.
PowerPoint.
Yeah, you didn't really have much there, Shannon. I thought it was interesting, Boyd had a nice matchup against Zach in week 12, scoring 156 points. It's probably up there in one of the all-time scores for the league.
That's a hell of a week.
44.5 points by Josh Jacobs. It's pretty impressive.
It's a highlight of the Busta's season.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
much to say after that one.
Week 14, the Boats versus Jacobs fantasy team. This was a battle for last place. Fish needed to get a win and outscore John by so many points. He got half of it. He got the win, but failed to outscore him by 0.3 points, and he got last place.
Fisher is legitimately the most overrated fantasy player of all time.
Yeah,
that's very true.
He's fallen out of relevance pretty far.
This was the first time in 8 seasons Boyd did not make the playoffs, so his regular season dominance comes to an end.
You missed the Boats name change. What is that about?
Oh yeah, he changed his name to Argosy Boats version 0.3 after beating him by 0.3, and I thought it was one of the all-time moments.
That is funny. I didn't realize that. Because I don't know if you guys heard me. I asked him during the draft, like, is this version 0.3? When's version 1 come out?
No, I did not hear you ask that.
I thought it was 3.0.
Yeah, that's 3.0. Good. Nice work, John.
Yeah, it's clever. All-time win leader, Corey, dominates the regular season, 13-1 record, but then he gets shellacked in round 2, and he ends the season with a sour taste.
I talked to them about that today.
Maybe the most overrated 13-1 team that's ever been in the league.
Very much.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think he
even
finished
during the regular season,
4th in points for or something. He wasn't even that high.
Yeah.
Classic Clouser season. Just lucky.
I'll hype myself up here a little bit. Reached the playoffs for the 3rd time ever, getting my first ever playoff victory. So, well done.
Well done, Teeps.
And then I lost in a close matchup in the semis to Cam. I think it was by like 2.5 or something.
It's tough.
So the 2022 season was fun, and it was capped off by a thrilling championship game that resulted in Sneeze as our back-to-back fantasy football champion. I hated making this, but I thought, well, it'll be fun.
So I want to bitch about it, but it's fine. He deserves it, I suppose.
Good for
Let him have his fun. His team's already a dumpster fire.
I mean, we'll get to it, but holy cow, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, the 3-peat's going to be tough. All right, so we'll do all Connor's stuff here. Best and worst picks first, and I'll let you talk on how you want to talk about it. I didn't really do any specific order here, just kind of did the names, like the team name alphabetical order, so it's not necessarily like the best pick or anything like that. So
Sure.
Did animations and everything. Jeez.
Yeah, so Corey, I think Corey's team scored pretty low in my rankings. Not that, I mean, he likes the young guys. That's fine. He does that every year. Worst pick is Kyle Pitts. I mean, he got him. Let's take a look here. He got Pitts in the 5th round. Goddard was still on the board. Waller was still on the board. I think both of those guys are going to finish probably 4 spots above Kyle Pitts. Who knows?
Yeah, I
if
agree.
Desmond Ridder is going to throw more than 3,000 yards this year, might get replaced by Heineke.
So Desmond Ridder is not going to finish the season as a starting QB for yeah.
But I do like the Cowboys D. I think they're probably the 2nd best defense, just the NFL defense in the league. And they were I can't count all these up, but probably the 10th defense taken off the board. I think they were the highest point scoring as far as NFL points, highest point scoring defense in the league last year. That kind of stuff doesn't really carry over, but yeah, I like the Cowboys pick.
Okay. Votes?
Boats. A lot of people didn't like the Boats draft. I think he did better than better than it seemed. There were a couple picks that were questionable. Worst one being two-time ACL tear Odell Beckham Jr. on a new team with a rookie sensation joining the team as well. So I think that kind of speaks for itself. Let's see where he took Odell. It wasn't that early, but it was early enough to kind of scratch your head. And then
Can you be on ESPN at the same time and still, like, if I go to a new tab, do you still see my face? If you see my face,
I still see you.
right
You
now.
guys are still seeing me, right? I'm jumping back and forth between screens.
I
Yeah,
do.
same.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the
now,
draft
so
board right now.
Rodgers. Okay, cool.
But I think John redeemed himself with Geno. I like the pick because Joe Burrow's injured, and Seattle has probably the easiest early season schedule. First 3 or 4 games are going to be pretty nice for Seattle. So if Burrow's got anything lingering, Geno's going to be a good fill-in. Was good last year, might still be good this year, but at least is going to have a good start to the season. If anything would happen to Burrow, so I like the Geno pick late.
Next up, Bustas.
Bustas needs a logo. I don't know what happened to his picture
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Don't worry.
Okay. All right.
I think John's best pick, according to you, was a backup quarterback.
Well, yeah. I mean, John had a rough draft.
Not great.
But in total, I think it worked out for him. Yeah, Rodgers. I mean, he got him what, 9th round, something like that. 8th round, 10th pick of the 8th round. That's high upside. Obviously, a lot of unknowns in New York, but high upside. Don't love the Jameson Williams pick. He's been injured his entire career. He's has 1 catch in his career. It was a 49-yard touchdown, but I mean, he's not going to play for the first 6 weeks. Boyd took him pretty. It was 12th round, but there was plenty of guys there that he could have taken, including some running backs on his lack of depth running back depth chart. So, yeah, don't like that pick whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a terrible pick. I don't know that you're ever playing him.
I mean, he's got to prove that he can, 1, stay healthy, and 2, stay out of trouble. So,
I mean, it's definitely a high upside, high low. Big potential ceiling, but definitely a very deep floor.
And he can't put him on the IR, so it's just clogging up your roster.
He just got a boner for him because he has him in Dynasty too.
Yeah.
All right, yourself?
Yeah, I mean, everyone likes their draft. I felt like my draft went about as well as it possibly could have this year. Waller in the 6th round, I believe. I mean, I was targeting him in the 5th. So getting him in the 6th to go with Hurts, I mean, that's just a killer combo, as we'll get to later. Andre Miller he's coming off an ACL. He's been banged up all camp. Reports are Kamara's looking good when he comes back after his 3-game suspension, and now he's hurt again. So I probably should have taken a receiver there instead of just another backup running back, but hey.
You got to have a worse pick, so.
Yep.
All right, the carnivores.
Gary, I think he did okay. I like Goddard a lot. I think he's probably the 4th best tight end this year. So, having him fall to the 5th round, whoever, Boyd taking Kittle and Corey taking Pitts helped him out there. Oh, and Jeff taking Hawkinson absolutely way too early. So yeah, I
This
like
got
Goddard.
signed, bro. A big contract. Highest paid tight end in the league.
I mean, if the Vikings want to throw out free money to bad players, then they can do that. But I don't
say
care.
he's bad. I think he's all right.
He's all right, but Goddard's better than he is, and I think several other players are. But I like Tua late. I don't like taking two quarterbacks. He took Lamar early, but I think Tua is a nice insurance policy and has a chance. I do like the Ravens this year, but Tua's got a chance to be better than Lamar on the season, and Gary's going to have two quarterbacks anyway, so he picked a good one late.
So then, why is that his worst pick?
Oh, did I put it as his worst pick?
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like Tua is one hit away from being done for the rest of his career.
I could see that.
I probably put that just because I don't like having two quarterbacks, especially when you invest in one early. Like, you pick a quarterback in the third round, that means they're going to be starting for you. So why waste a roster spot with a backup quarterback? It was tied between Tua and Irv Smith, to be honest, because you don't need two tight ends either. But yeah, I put Tua.
You got the flex. You can have two tight ends.
What?
You got the flex now. You can have two tight ends.
Well, if you want to start a tight end in your flex, then be my guest. But I'll be
Goddard and Irv Smith. Yeah, lethal.
No.
If you invest high in a quarterback and he gets hurt for an extended period of time, you're just pretty well done for the season. So investing a pick in a backup quarterback does feel. I mean, unless Tua stays healthy, I'm not saying Tua is bad. Tua is good, but I just don't trust his health.
Yeah.
And the fact that Dallas Goedert was picked after Kyle Pitts is
a
highway robbery.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about bottom 5 offense versus top 5 offense. I mean, proven track record. Good.
I think quarterback's the issue, but I think Atlanta could have a top 15 offense just running the ball. I mean, they were number 1 in rushing last year. They won like 7 games. I mean, they were better than it seemed.
I've heard their O-line is dominant.
I think they'll be decent.
They're gonna be. I think Algier, who is on my team, so I'm biased, but I think he still might have close to 1,000 yards, and Bijan might have 1,500. I mean, they might just run all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming Ritter can probably take off a little bit if he has to. And did you say Heineke's there? I didn't even know that Heineke's there.
Back up. Yeah.
Yeah. So if he plays, he can run. So
he'll probably be starting by week 4.
Also, future on their division winner, huh?
What'd you say?
I don't know. I think Carolina will be decent too. Those Saints will be pretty good. So I don't know.
I think
that division's up for grabs, really.
Yeah.
All right. Devonta's Inferno.
All right. Yeah, Devontae Adams, I think he got him in the second round. Yeah. 15th. Longer than that. Like 19th pick in the draft. It's just as a better value than Kupp at the 12th spot before he got injured. Devontae Adams is still going to be great. I don't care about Jimmy Garoppolo. Devontae Adams is going to grab Jimmy Garoppolo by the face mask and say, "Throw me the damn ball. Stop throwing it to fucking Hunter Renfrow. Give me the ball." And Jimmy's going to say, "Okay." So, yeah, Devontae Adams is going to have like almost 200 targets. Yeah, Zach's tight end management, I think he might have been on auto draft, but worst of the draft. I almost gave him the worst rank, which we'll get to later, for QBs and tight ends, but he's got Kelsey, so you got to give him some for that. But to draft Kelsey in the first round and then draft 2 middling backup tight ends is just
Kelsey?
I didn't even realize he had Kelsey. That's shocking, though. That I see that he has 2 others.
Yeah.
And I'll tell him it's boneheaded.
Yeah, shame on you. Come on.
It is always a conundrum do you draft the talent just for the talent, or do you draft the talent but weigh it into the team and the offense and the scheme and all that?
But you can't even argue talent with Zach Ertz. I mean, he's 32 years old. He's playing for Arizona.
Well, I'm more referring to Devontae Adams.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Adams is fine. I have zero worries about Adams whatsoever.
He's a top 3 talent, but the team is just no bueno.
I mean, there were the same worries last year with going to a new offense. Derek Carr is a middling quarterback.
Oh, that was his boy, though.
Sure, but
Carr at least push it down the field. I don't know if Jimmy G will or not. We'll see.
he will if
That's true.
Devontae tells him to.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
but does he have the capability to do that?
Yeah, he can throw it.
To get it down the field? I don't know.
All you gotta do is throw it in the air.
I mean, they're just gonna double team him the whole time. Who else are they gonna care about in that offense?
I mean, that's a fair point.
I guess, yeah. You don't
Who's
think
there?
that's wrong?
No, I think Nelson Aguilar's there, which I don't know what that's worth, but
Nelson Aguilar
Not
is,
much.
I think, a Saint or a Texan now.
it's Jacoby Myers is there. Not
That's
Nelson.
right, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway,
All right.
Anyway, those tight end
definitely.
picks were one of the worst picks, like overall of the draft for those two tight ends.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, especially now that you mentioned that he had Kelsey. Yeah, that's bad.
All right, Jeff is, I think, by far my worst ranked team of the whole draft. I do like Jahan Dotson. I think he got him pretty late, so that's good. Oh, it wasn't even that late, so I had to reach to find the best pick for Jeff. I mean, he got him in the 8th round. Probably could have waited 2 more rounds to get him.
best
I have him as the best pick, but I'm seriously, all of Jeff's picks were bad. All of them. I hope he sees it. They were all bad. But I like Jahan Dotson as a player,
He ain't
so I threw a bone to him. And I've already talked about TJ Hawkinson. You know, he's going to get a ton of targets in Minnesota. They're not going to be worth much. He's not going to score too many touchdowns. Not a lot of upside for a tight end when you have 2 superstar wide receivers in the offense. You know, he's going to catch a bunch of balls for
2 superstars?
Yeah, Jordan Addison. I mean, 1st round wide receiver. He's going to be
KJ
getting the ball.
Osborne?
KJ's good too. I mean,
I
I
don't know
don't
if we can
like
call a rookie a superstar yet.
if he's drafted in
Yeah.
the 1st
We
round.
got
I
to see him
mean,
play in the league.
1st round draft capital.
League's a different animal.
He just needs to slow down in his car, and he'll be fine. He'll be good on the
That's
field.
true.
But yeah, TJ Hawkinson in the 4th round. You know, I like Goddard better. I like Waller better, and I like a lot of the wide receivers and running backs in that range better than taking Hawkinson there.
Okay. I can see that. All right. Holy Schmidt.
Holy Schmidt.
Shane had a good draft. I think he was well ranked by most.
Yeah.
I think I already talked about Addison. I think he's going to be
He's a superstar.
phenomenal. Future superstar at least.
Most rookie receiving yard future. Jordan Addison. Put in the books.
Yeah, I mean, you got to listen to Cody Brown. He's got him for offensive rookie of the year too. So yeah, I think he's going to be good. 9th round. That's pretty good value. I think he got him. He took him ahead of JSN, who has his hand injury. And I think who's the other rookie? Quentin Johnson, I don't think is on the same level. I'm missing somebody though. Zay Flowers, who I took. So I do like Flowers a little better, but yeah, I like the Addison pick. And then Daniel Jones, I actually don't like hate in fantasy, but kind of the same concept with Kelsey. You take Patrick Mahomes, you're just wasting a roster spot with a QB. So I didn't like it.
I agree. Yeah, I think he'll be decent fantasy wise, but
yeah, he'll be fine. Giants are going to be above average again.
Yeah. All right, the heroics.
Love Kenneth Walker. Kind of mad I don't have him. I've got DK, so don't really want to double up on Seahawks, but I like Kenneth Walker a lot. Where'd you get him, Mills? I can't see him on here. It was 5th round? Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean,
5th round.
Yeah, I would have taken him over
Jeez.
Kamara. I would have taken him over Madison. I would have taken him over Sanders. I would have taken him over James Conner. I mean, I like that value a lot. It's a good pick by Hills. And not many. I didn't really. I was kind of splitting hairs, but I think the Kansas City receivers are going to be kind of like they were last year. Like, not a lot of value to be had. One game's going to be this guy. One game's going to be this guy. So taking a 7th or 8th round pick, whatever it was on Sky Moore, not a huge fan, but like I said, I had to go find one I didn't like.
That's fair. I honestly like Gabe Davis more. I like Sky Moore.
Yeah, was he there?
I took Gabe after him.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah.
So do you have a best and worst pick that you think you did, Hills?
Yeah, wish that's what.
Yeah, I kind of wish I did too, honestly. Let me get to my team real quick.
Watson was in consideration for your best pick.
See, honestly, Watson is the one I'm most concerned about. Well, one of them. Fuck. Let's see.
I think Watson could either be your best pick or your worst pick.
Watson's been great. I mean,
yeah, it's fair.
Maybe higher injury risk, not playing that much, but he's looked great.
I mean, honestly, after Gabe Davis, it's really just a bunch of flyers, so it's hard to say that they're my worst pick. The two picks I'm the most concerned about are Watson and Khalil Herbert. Not that I don't think Khalil Herbert's not a good talent. I think Khalil Herbert could share a lot of time with other talented running backs. Plus, Justin Fields is going to rush for 8 to 10 touchdowns this year.
You took Herbert pretty high. Were you like? It looks like the running backs were running
6
out.
or 7.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, like,
but he's been going 8th or 9th. But I think the running backs were running out. I mean, after that, it was AJ Dillon.
Yeah.
Jeff Wilson.
I mean, Cameron says then. Yeah, the next one was JWJ, according to Cameron.
Yeah,
so
just kind of have to take him there. Got one playing in this league.
I feel good about him being my 3rd running back, so it's not like a terrible thing. But I mean, to be quite honest with you, I think my team has a lot of good talent, and I would be surprised if I'm not at least in the middle of the pack and not top of the pack this year.
I'm dinging you for the Okonkwo picks, unnecessary.
Just
if you were going to draft a tight end, to throw on your bench, you should have drafted. I mean,
just to be honest, if what I like is to have two good tight ends, and if I don't even know how to say his name, Tennessee's tight end happens to be a startable player, I like the idea of being able to trade Andrews for some good skill players and put Tennessee's tight end in there. Because injuries are going to happen. Shit's going to happen.
Chig Okonkwo, Hills. Just if you're.
I don't know how to say it either. So
Chig Okonkwo.
I've had far too many drinks to try to enunciate that name.
All right, let's move on to Fisher's team.
Oh, do we have to? James Conner's going to get a lot of work if he can stay healthy. I think Fish did about as best as he could.
Arizona's game scheme is really going to be great for a running back that doesn't catch any balls.
No, he caught quite a few balls last year, but I don't know if the quarterbacks that are going to be playing are going to be throwing it to him. But I think once Kyler gets back, they're going to be better than people think they are. And
he was out for the season.
Kyler?
I thought there was news recently saying he was likely not going to play all year.
I think it's later than they thought. There was talk that he was going to start the season, but I think it'll probably be halfway. But I mean, there's no one else. There's no one else there. It's just he's proven that he's good. He's been around. Yeah, 5th round.
I mean, he's a boring pick, but he's always solid.
Yeah,
so that's fair.
Yeah, it's like if you're drafting Jefferson, Waddle, Josh Allen as your first 3 picks, you can do worse than Miles Sanders and James Conner as your first 2 RBs. So I think starting off the way he did, he could have done worse there at his 4 or 5 turn. Kind of the same mentality I've been talking about. I don't like drafting 2 tight ends. Juwan Johnson, he could have he could have found someone else at that 14th round. So yeah, why throw Juwan Johnson on your bench? I get it. Njoku is like not exactly a superstar, but I just not a fan. Actually, I didn't mind Fisher's draft. I thought he did pretty well.
Yeah, he did okay.
Oh
All right,
boy.
Sneeze.
Well,
These may be tainted
take
now.
that best pick gone. The best pick's out.
I gave him the curse. Yeah, Cooper Kupp was a screaming value at the 12th pick. I think he's going to be top 4 wide receiver, which is where he was taken. He was the 4th wide receiver taken.
For a
But
couple
I think he's more. He would have been more safe than some of those first round running backs. Sounds like he's going to miss at least 2 or 3 games. Could be 4 or 5. Who's got Van Jefferson? I gotta take a look here. Oh wait, it's your boy. Um, and yeah, Russell Wilson. I mean, even if he was your only quarterback and you got him that late, it would be questionable. But you have Herbert. Whatever. I almost went for that tight end situation, but I guess it's kind of okay because Kincaid has like some real upside in the Bills' offense. He could break out, but if you got Herbert, no need to draft Russell there.
Connor, you've unfortunately set yourself up for the question of if Russell Wilson is his worst pick, how are you still
I
trying?
have to be optimistic, Hills.
How are you still trying to argue the fact that your trade was not the shittiest trade of all time? I mean, it's by far the worst trade of Legends Never Die, the Legends Never Dynasty.
I want Russell to snap the fuck out of it, get with Sean Payton, and complete some passes. But I have eyeballs. I watched the games last year. He's not the Russell that was when I traded. He's absolutely not the Russell of 2 years ago. So I have to hope that it's a 1 year blip and it's going to work out. And this is, I'm living in the shit right now. But would I bet on that now? Would I trade? Do I do the same trade now? No. It it's looking like a not great trade. It's only 1 year in. You can't evaluate that in Dynasty. Trey Lance is going to be like driving Uber in Dallas here soon. Uh, so yeah, I mean, we'll see how it works out. It's not looking great, but I just have to hope and pray that Sean Payton is the savior.
That's fair. I just, for the folks that are in both leagues, I had to bring it up for the league.
Yeah, you can't not. I mean, you can't
Right.
not bring it up. I heard something interesting, bro. This is a sidetrack, but I feel like we got to talk about it. Sean Payton was calling out Nathaniel Hackett, and that's like,
Yeah.
you don't do that as a coach. I heard someone the other day bring up like, what if he's doing that because the Broncos are so bad that he feels like he has to bring it up to say, listen, this might take a few years for me to fix. This guy was fucked it up so bad. That's what he said when he got to camp. So I'm a little nervous about the Broncos.
I'm pretty sure PFT brought that up.
Did he? Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And no Judy to start the year. No Tim Patrick. It's just not looking great. Cameron, your team's not good. I hope watch this whole thing. Your team's not good.
I'm sure he'll have something to say. All right, Teeps train.
All right, Teeps train. I feel like it was a middle of the pack draft if I'm remembering my rankings correctly. Oh no, Teeps had the number 1 ranked running backs, so he did good in running back. And along that line, Dameon Pierce in the 4th round, he's going to get nearly 100% of the work in Houston. As your 3rd running back, I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better there in the 4th round. And Jerry Jeudy. What'd you say?
You ever heard of Devin Singletary?
Yeah, I've heard of him. He's like
an average. He's an
average running back. He didn't get not a lot of work in the preseason. He ran with the 2s. Damian Pierce looks like an absolute angry man running out there, running people over. He's going to get all the work. He's going to get the passing work. Singletary never got passing work in Buffalo. I'm a big Damian Pierce fan. Might trade you for him.
No, I'm just fucking around. I'm not
We'll
a
talk.
Singletary guy.
I think if we get another trade accepted, it'll be vetoed. Just no matter what it is.
I'll trade you Russ for him.
Wrong league.
But yeah, Jerry Jeudy is your wide receiver 3. Don't even know if he's going to start the season. I think you redeemed yourself a little bit with Michael Thomas. He's underrated. You got him 2 rounds after that. But like in that Jerry Jeudy range, Ayuk, Tyler Lockett. No, Ayuk went before you, but Tyler Lockett, so much safer than Jerry Jeudy. But Jerry Jeudy might have a great second half. You never know.
I'll be honest with that one. I didn't even realize he was hurt when I took him. So,
well, it's like every team, just like this Cooper Kupp thing. They're like, oh, it's a mild hamstring strain. Well, no, he hurt his hamstring 3 weeks ago, and now he re-aggravated it. He's going to be out for a month.
Yeah.
That's Shannon's take.
All right, I'll give my 2 cents on. I didn't end up doing my own picks here, but I would say my best was probably Mike Thomas. I think he's got a lot of upside. Yeah. He could end up playing a bunch. Worst, I don't know. I don't have my team pull up in front of me.
Kirk is like boring, but you got him in the 10th round, so you're going to get production there.
Who?
Kirk. Cousins.
Kirk?
Yeah. I think he'll be okay, actually. You could argue, we'll just say Darnell Mooney. He'll never play, so there's your worst pick.
I mean, he's a number 2.
I mean, you didn't
heavy offense.
You didn't have too many stinkers. Taking a kicker in the 13th is a little high, but Tyler Bass is gonna be fine.
I did the same thing, honestly, so I can't.
You gotta get a good one there. Kickers are important.
Yeah. Highest point scorer.
Yeah, kind of. All right. We'll move on to, or did you want to say anything else with that?
No, that was sorry it took so long.
No, it's all right. This is fun. All right, we'll move on to I got some team logo grades. You know, you mentioned Boyd earlier. We'll get into this a little bit. You guys feel free to jump in and give a grade too if you want. We'll start off with Corey.
That's a
D.
Yeah. It
D.
doesn't make any sense at all.
Bad.
I mean, it's a cool logo, but there's no chemistry between the name and the logo.
Doesn't tie to his team name at all. Like, I don't know if his thought was he coached Carterville Lions or something, so he tried to bring a line. I don't know. It looks like something a 6-year-old would pick.
Are you a Gryffindor?
Say he's a Griffin. Been a Griffin for a while, so come on.
Yeah. D. All right, the boats, B+. It's
I can't see that. That's Argosy? Okay.
It's a nice looking. I mean, it's just a picture of the Argosy. I like it. It's got all the colors on it, so it's old school Argosy. I don't know. It is kind of hard to see, but I think it's cool personally.
I never knew what it was till now, but I like it.
That's pretty cool.
All right, Bustas, F-. I mean, I think his logo is different, and I don't know. When you click on his team, this is what pops up.
Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, I don't know if it ESPN took that away or something, but this is what shows up. So it's.
Yeah.
I mean, this is literally just the
he
ESPN
still deserves
generic.
to be called out.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Update it. Come on. All right, Shannon again, B-. I mean, it ties with the team name perfectly. You know, just like. Smack in the head. That's perfect. I don't really know why I scored it lower. I guess it's because I don't really like Bob's Burgers, but
yeah, that's a love or hate.
It ties with the team name well, I guess.
B-. That's not a bad grade.
No, I'll take it.
Carnivores, B-. I like this one. It's the only knock on it is it's like really grainy and blurry, kind of hard to see. It doesn't fit the square or whatever, like it cuts off part of carnivores.
I've never looked at it. Is it a dinosaur eating a pizza?
It looks like
Yeah,
zoomed in.
sandwich.
I don't know what's in his hand. Maybe a sandwich, and then like in his mouth looks like ribs almost.
But it's got the name in the photo. That's a big plus.
Yeah, it screams carnivore. Yeah, I mean it's fierce. You know, T-Rex looks intimidating some, but it just needs like a touch up, I guess. Inferno's F is horrible.
Yeah.
It's one of those stock ESPN logos. I mean, again, going back to Corey's, it looks like something a 6-year-old would pick. It's just terrible. It has nothing to do with his team name. His team name drives me nuts too. Like that.
It's brutal.
Update it. Come on.
Yeah. That's a double F.
El Jefe. It's cool looking logo. C-. It's cool looking logo, but and I guess the shark kind of ties in with Jeff because he likes them, but this is football. It's not hockey. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with that grade.
I agree.
Holy Schmidt, A-. I don't know. It doesn't really tie with
What?
him with his name, but I like it. It's clean.
That's the shocker.
It's the coach. He's
this
the coach of
round.
this fantasy team. I don't know. I like it. It's simple. I like the
That's
colors.
That's as elementary as mush balls is.
No, I like
Hey,
it.
Teebs likes what he likes. It's his
much
segment.
better.
That's
All right,
funny.
the heroics. What do you give yourself before I show mine?
I mean, I think I at least deserve it somewhere in the B's. I mean, it's a fucking hero. I'm the Hillsman's Heroics, and it's a great hero. Incredibles is a great movie. Yeah.
Ooh,
A-.
yeah.
It's a good logo.
Yeah.
Heroic,
Incredibles
Mr.
is
Incredible. He's as heroic as it gets.
Right.
Yeah, good logo. All right,
Oh,
fantasy
no.
team.
Exactly what the
A-.
thumbnail says.
I love it. I love it.
Oh,
What?
It's so boring, like just like his team name. So it's perfect.
That's a good
And
point.
the F
I mean,
for Fisher,
but
it's good.
anybody who knows him doesn't even know his last name is Fisher because his name is just Jacob's fantasy team.
Well, the F's for Fantasy Hills.
Or his team name, or
No.
his team is an F.
F is for the quality of his team every fucking year.
Right. No, it's
That's
a good
right.
logo.
You should have done some rankings, Fish. Get bodied.
The fact that I'm equal with Fisher is annoying.
All right, Sneeze, B+. It's an overall good
Agree.
logo. The only knock is he's got his name in there. That's nice. He could maybe even pull Sneeze down and put Sunday above it to get the whole team name. But the only knock is the Mizzou logo. This is the NFL, not college, so that needs to be taken out or something.
Like, try to leave Mizzou out of his fashion in some way, shape, or form. It's just impossible.
I agree with the grade. I like that he made it himself. So I mean that's points.
Our last teams train.
I mean that honestly,
A-.
You're being humble there. I like your logo a lot.
I didn't want to give anybody higher than A- really.
Is that an updated Teeps Train logo this year?
Yeah, I did it last year. No, last year.
I don't remember the name being in there. Yeah, it looks
it's hard to tell from this. I mean, you can't see it at all, but that little red dot in the center there, it's got the team slogan all aboard. So it's
shit.
It's perfection.
Yeah, that's nicely done.
All right. Agreed. Okay, so now we'll get into our rankings. Right. So first we have Mr. claims he can't catch a break, but maybe he's just bad. These are Connor's rankings.
They're gonna be sick of listening to Connor for the first hour of the podcast.
That's true.
I gotta take a
I just put these in the order Connor sent me the data in, so yeah.
That's fine. I'm gonna go pee.
You want me to keep rolling?
Yeah, why don't you pull them all up and I'll just pick a few to talk about.
Okay. I'll kind of just go through them then. Yeah. 12.
Yeah.
Carnivores. 11. Inferno. 10. Holy Schmidt. 9. Jacob's Fantasy Team. 8. The Boats. 7. All-Time Wins Leader. 6. Sunday Sneeze. 5. The Bustas. 4. Connor himself. 3. The Heroics. 2. El Jefe. And 1. The Trains.
Yep. Yeah, let's see. I'll find one where I'm kind of off of everybody else here. So Shane, I think I have lower than everybody. Like, let me take a look.
Well, you put
Look.
Jeff high on this one.
Yeah, Jeff's an 11 or 12 in every category except this one. I mean, he's Nick Chubb and Najee Harris. You're just guaranteeing yourself like 600 touches, regardless of injury.
I don't know. Najee's going to get. I don't know about that. I mean, he's got the handcuff there, but I think Najee could lose his job.
Well, if he loses his job, it's to a guy that Jeff has. But that was actually a point against him that he drafted because Jalen Warren's going to get his own work. Like he's not just like a backup. And he drafted him pretty high. He reached for him. But I mean, I think Nick Chubb, there's a good chance he might be the RB1 this year. I would pick Saquon. Oh, sorry, I would pick CMC as RB1. Come on now. But Saquon was like my favorite besides CMC, and Nick Chubb is number 3. So I like Jeff's team. I had Shane lower than most rankers. I think he's got like a pretty good top 3. I don't think he has a top dog. I put a lot of emphasis in my rankings on having that number 1 guy you can put in your lineup. I don't see that with ETN, Madison, Akers. I think they're all going to be RB2s. They'll probably all 3 be RB2s, so that's good for him, but he doesn't really have that RB1. And then Zeke, who knows what he has. New England is frustrating use of their running backs anyway. And yeah, he's got Derrick Henry's backup in case that goes down. Teams train, he's only got 4. I do like having depth, young depth, if I can, that's part of my rankings, but Saquon's my number 2 running back. Ramondre's in my top 12. Pierce is top 15-ish. And we all know I like James Cook. So that's where I had that. I don't think anything else. I had myself pretty high. In this category, I'll own that. But I think I should have gotten more credit for McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook in the 7th round. I mean, those two in the starting lineup. Yeah, I know Breece Hall is there, but Dalvin Cook is still Dalvin Cook. I mean, he was phenomenal last year. He's going to be phenomenal this year for at least the first half. And I've got lots of depth. So that's my take.
I would say things that surprise me. First off is I don't know. I honestly forget what my rankings are, but Fisher's team being in the bottom 3rd is surprising. Not that I think he has then you mentioned this that you like to have a dominant guy. I don't think he has a dominant guy.
I put pretty high value on having that top dog. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think Miles Sanders and James Conner and Monty are 3 what I would consider potential RB2s.
I agree. And Hunt is going to sign somewhere, and he's going to be relevant.
And even Damian Harris might score 8 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, he'll fall in the end zone lots of times. But
he could be there.
But yeah, it's like I said, I liked Fisher's draft and like how he handled it starting the way he did, but I just don't love his running backs as
I guess hindsight's 20/20, and I would hate to talk so much shit on the 2-time, or I guess the 3-time, but the 2 most recent time.
Back to back.
But he should be. Fisher should be in front of him, in my opinion.
I don't know. Josh Jacobs is. I mean,
he's already highlighted it, wasn't he?
Yeah, Casey highlighted it with Boyd's performance. I mean, he was probably Boyd's only good player last year, but I guarantee you won him some matchups just like that 150-point one. Josh Jacobs is a top dog, and I think Sneeze got him in the 2nd round.
I agree, but I don't have a single ounce of faith in Pacheco. And not that I don't think he's a good running back. He's obviously in a good offense. Like you guys mentioned with Scott
I don't think he's a good fantasy running back at all.
Sunday is just going to be week by week on who the guy is.
Sunday Sneeze has made his money on later round guys that are going to get the volume and overperform. I think that's Brian Robinson. He's going to get 200, 250 carries. Pacheco's the number one guy. I mean, he's been hurt during the offseason, but as soon as he came back, he went the number one offense. He may not be efficient, same with Robinson, but they're going to get a bunch of carries, and that's where Sunday Sneeze goes to work. Now, Jeff Wilson, we've talked about Jeff Wilson till we're blue in the face. I don't think he's going to play this year. I think he's got something going on. He's got like a abdominal injury or an organ issue. Like he can't play. So Sneeze didn't know that, but it ends up being a wasted pick. I didn't hold that against him. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Or hope Raheem stays healthy then.
Oh, Raheem's going to have great 2 weeks.
I'm also surprised Bustas is. I mean, 5 isn't low, but I do like the Bustas running backs.
Bustas were popular, but he has no depth. I mean, if Philly splits their backfield 4 ways, if Mixon gets hurt again, I value depth. So that's why he's not in the top 3.
I think if you made me take Teebs or Bustas, I'd take Bustas running backs over Teebs.
Well, that's why it's Shannon's rankings.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true. I'm just throwing out my opinions.
I'm gonna take mine over his.
I mean, it's not a big.
Got to place that Hawaii bet.
It's not a big discrepancy. I'm just trying to spark a little discussion.
Yeah, I think. Like obviously, Bustas has big names that have been relevant for years and years, but I can see some downtrending for all 3 of those top guys. And Swift, Swift, there was talk Swift wasn't going to make the team. I mean, Philly, who knows what Philly's doing? So
I don't
could be a great pick.
Swift's not higher. Swift's a fucking stud.
He's not though. I mean, he was touted as a stud when he went to the Lions, but he hasn't done that much.
He's just a pass catcher that can.
Yeah, he's a good pass catcher, but as a running back, I mean, I don't think he's great.
I feel like he's a young Aaron Jones.
That's a fair comp, but I think Aaron Jones is elite, like breakaway runs. I don't think Swift has those.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. All right, let's move on to the wide receivers. You want me to do the same thing and kind of just show them all, or
yeah, you can throw them up there.
All right. 12, Jeff. 11, Corey. 10, the Boats. 9, Bustas. 8, Shannon again. 7, the Trains. 6, the Heroics. 5, Holy Schmidt. 4, Carnivores. 3, Sunday Sneeze. 2, Jacob's Fantasy Team. And coming in at number 1, Devonta's Inferno.
All right, wide receivers. Just have to make a note that everybody had Jeff at 12. So yeah, Jeff, you just got to do better.
I will not defend him, but he told me what happened there with Godwin. He was running out of time. He went over to check something on a different tab, and then you know how if you like search in the ESPN draft, you can like type in so many letters and it'll pull up like 3. If you type in Williams, it's gonna bring up every Williams in whatever team. So he did something like that. Went to a different tab. When he came back to the draft, he realized he only had like 20 seconds, so then he couldn't figure out how to find any players because he had typed in 3 letters that didn't resulted in 0 players. So he couldn't find anything. Somehow figured it out eventually with like 2 seconds, so I clicked off it and then auto picked Godwin for him.
Listen, Godwin might be his best pick. I mean, I didn't put it in his best pick, but Godwin in the 6th round is fine. I have no problem with Godwin there, but he just has no depth.
Yeah, the rest are bad. I don't even think Dotson's going to be that good.
Dotson's going to be fine. Actually, Nico Collins on my dynasty team, I would love for him to be good, but with a rookie quarterback, it's not likely. And Zay Jones is just like Zay Jones, and that's it. That's all he's got.
Yeah, they got like 3 other options there.
Let's
But-
be honest. Like we all love the potential of Olave.
Oh, Olave is.
Still a second-year guy. We don't know that he's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, and still
don't
Michael
know.
Thomas in town, but we haven't seen Michael Thomas play legitimate football in like 3 years. So it's like it's hard to project him for anything legitimate. But you're right. Everyone loves Olave. Also on my dynasty team, might not work out.
Which is also
Let's see.
against Corey, for the record.
What'd you say?
That's just my argument against Corey as well. But I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah, I get Corey's strategy, but he takes it to the extreme. I think you got to have some proven guys there. Let's see where I deviated from the pack.
I feel like most of these were relatively the same.
There wasn't much deviation. So I had Corey at 11. That's the lowest out of anybody. Hills had him pretty low too. Garrett Wilson's kind of the same story as Chris Olave. Like everyone's just assuming he's going to be fantastic. Aaron Rodgers is going to save the day, but Aaron Rodgers was bad last year. I mean, he was bad. Yeah, he looks great on Hard Knocks. Garrett Wilson looks like a superstar. We don't know. And then Christian Watson, kind of the same story, but he's got Jordan Love at quarterback. Who knows if that can get the job done? So those top 2 guys are pretty iffy. I like Ayuk.
Reports are Romeo's the dude there.
Yeah, those were the reports last year, and then Christian Watson the last half of the year went absolutely bananas. He had like 7 straight weeks with a touchdown. So I loved your Dobbs pick. You got him like what, 11 rounds later than Watson at least.
I think I dropped him already, so you could have him.
Okay, I might pick him up.
For sure I did.
I actually like Corey's 3rd and 4th wide receiver picks better than his first 2. I mean, Ayuk is solid. Cooks is way undervalued for Cowboys offense, but Tank Dell is an itty bitty baby boy, and he's the 2nd wide receiver for a rookie quarterback. He's not going to have tremendous value, but it was a late pick, so yeah, I didn't love. Brandon Cooks is like 27 years old. I mean,
Brandon Cooks is a steal. He's consistent every fucking year. He's a fucking stud.
I thought you were going against it. I was like,
no,
I mean, he's produced everywhere he's gone, other than like a brain rattling concussion with the Rams that put him out for weeks. So yeah, he's done nothing but perform.
Yeah, I wish I had him.
But I'll go ahead and talk about Zach then, because no one else is really like standing out. Fisher did a great job at receiver. So that's all I'll say. I mean, he's set up for success. He's got proven guys. And Traylon Burks, I like that he's got a youth depth option. Traylon Burks could break out this year. So you did something right, Fish. Well done. You need to change your team name. And Mush, yeah, I already talked about Devontae Adams. T. Higgins is solid. DJ Moore is solid. Drake London, probably the least talked about 2nd-year wide receiver. He only had 1,000 yards last year. Led the league in target percentage for rookies. And I love JSN. So yeah, big fan of Zach's team. Or his wide receivers at least.
All right, good here.
Yeah, unless you guys have any surprises. But I think we were pretty this wasn't a very controversial pick section for anybody.
No,
that seems pretty. I mean, I think I've said what I want to say.
Yeah, we can see more too once we get to our own.
Yeah.
All right, quarterback, tight end. Do it as a combo. 12, Sonny Sneeze. 11, Jeff. 10, Classic Carnivores.
Sneezes.
Yeah, he's gonna flip a lid.
His jaw's dropped at his screen right now.
My jaw's kind of dropped a little bit. I don't think he's that bad.
Yeah, I don't think I had him that low either, but we'll get his takes here. 7, Boats. 6, Infernos. 5, Trains. That's shocking to me. 4, fantasy team, 3 bustas, 2 heroics, and 1 Shannon again.
I'm sorry, Connor. I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but my initial reaction is I am shocked that the boats are in front of Holy Schmidt.
Yeah. So first, I'll say it's really difficult to evaluate QBs and tight ends in the same category.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I think we
I
all
found it hard too. Yeah.
I think we all dealt with that. Let me just refresh my memory. I, I, I graded the boats pretty high because I feel like he did the right thing taking Joe Burrow with the injury questions. Joe Burrow projected to be elite. I think he dropped an ADP because of the injury, and John protected himself with Geno Smith. John probably would have been in like my top 4 if it weren't for Luke Musgrave. I mean, he waited way too long to take a tight end, and then he got absolute, like, probably tight end 30 on the season. You know, like there were so many other options to choose from, but I thought he did well at quarterback, so he's right there at 7. Um, and for my rankings, I've kind of already talked about it. I don't like taking 2 QBs. I don't like taking 2 tight ends. So I dinged major points for that.
Assuming you're talking about Mushball there.
Mushbaugh was a big
Yeah,
was a big
6 is
ding
kind of low for me.
because Fields and Kelsey are good, but we talked about those tight end picks, just terrible.
Yeah.
Shane, we talked about too. His worst pick was Daniel Jones. I think Freiermuth is a good tight end option this year. No need to take Dalton Schultz. So I could see Shane being 7 and Boats being 8, but I mean that's for me with the criteria I'm looking at. That's just splitting hairs. I think they're probably
That's fair.
tied. As far as Sneeze, I know he's going to want an explanation as to why he's in last place. I already said don't take 2 tight ends, don't take 2 quarterbacks, and Teeb said it perfectly in a separate text message. If you're going to take 2 tight ends, or if you're going to take 2 quarterbacks, don't take shitty ones. And you took Cole Kmet, no upside. Just, I mean, even if Fields is a good passer, he's still going to be running the ball. They're a running offense, no upside for Kmet. A little bit of upside for Kincaid in the second half of the season because rookie tight ends just don't come out knowing the offense. They have to learn the blocks and the routes. So maybe upside for Kincaid in the second half of the season. And then I already talked about Russell Wilson. You have Justin Herbert. He's great. No need to draft Russell Wilson there. So sorry, Sneeze, but that's how I see it. Teebs is a surprise at 5. He even said himself. But I've already talked about the value I place on getting high value position running back wide receivers instead of taking those backup quarterbacks and tight ends. So Cousins was late, Ingram was late, so he got value. He didn't waste other roster spots, so that's why he's at 5.
Well done, Teeps. Thanks. All right, let's move on to kickers.
Yeah, I was the only one to do kickers and defenses, so
Yeah,
I'll try to keep it brief, but I think I have some explaining to do in
I
both.
started putting these together,
Yeah,
and I realized you had them separated.
Jesus fucking Christ! You put yourself in front of fucking Teebs as Tyler Bass is.
Yeah, I was kind of baffled by some of these too.
All right, so let me talk about kickers. This is fantasy football kickers.
Oh, thanks.
Fantasy football kickers.
We didn't know that. Thanks.
What I value. And this isn't necessarily an order, but good offense, bad red zone efficiency, which means you're kicking field goals, and indoors. So why isn't Justin Tucker number 1? He's the best kicker in the league. Is not a question. He might be the best kicker of all time. He needs to do some work in the playoffs to catch up with Vinatieri. But he hasn't been the RB1 since 2016. I was prepared for this argument, by the way. Because I knew I was going to get shit for Justin Tucker not being number one. He hasn't been the RB1 since 2016. He's been pretty consistent. He's been top 5 every year except for one.
He's never been an RB, so of course
Yeah, that's
RB.
true.
Kicker, you know what I meant.
Unless they fumble on the snap, he picks up and runs.
Right. And it's because the Ravens are good offense, and they're good in the red zone. But he's kicking a lot of extra points, and he's kicking a lot of long field goals. Would you think like he's the best long field goal kicker there is? Well, he missed 7 of them last year. So Younghoe Koo, the Falcons are going to be terrible offense. I already talked about. I think the Falcons are going to be top 15 offense in terms of yards. Bad quarterbacks. They're not going to score touchdowns. That's red zone efficiency is based on your quarterback. They're not going to score touchdowns. He's going to have plenty of field goal opportunities. He was 5th last year. He was kicker number 5 last year. And I think we can all agree their offense was brutal last year.
Falcons should run triple option.
What?
Falcons should run triple option.
Yeah, go for it. But
That'd be sick.
They're not going to score touchdowns doing that. And Koo is a good kicker. He's one of the best in the league. He's finished in the top 5 already, I think twice. I think his rookie year or his second year, it was like 4th or 5th. And he kicks indoors. So that's where I'm at with Younghoe. I know it's blasphemous. Same thing with Riley Patterson. I mean, the Bills are a good offense. The Bills score touchdowns. They get in the red zone, they score. I'm not as confident in Jared Goff converting in the red zone. I'm not as confident in Tyler Bass in the winter in Buffalo. I'll take Riley Patterson for a good yardage Lions offense indoors.
I mean, it's a good homer pick, so I'm down with it.
7. I mean, I didn't get myself that high.
Yeah, it's not that outrageous, I guess.
And Jeff taking part of it was draft capital too, because you took Bass high. So I did factor that in, but not as much. Cameron took Younghoe Koo with his last pick. So, but Jeff taking Matt Gay for a bad Colts offense. Yes, he's indoors, but for a bad Colts offense, it was baffling to me. So that's why I was at 12.
Jeff just must love Anthony Richardson.
I guess so.
I think he does. Yeah.
Love him.
He didn't draft him
on the tape. He drafted him in Dynasty. He traded a lot for him.
Yeah, he did.
Fucking Jalen Waddle. Fucking, I hope he sees that. That's the fucking stupid. That's borderline worse than Connor's trade.
It's worse.
It's not, but it's borderline.
It absolutely was not worse.
It was not worse.
Without Connor's trade, then we wouldn't have been able to have this the Waddle trade.
Yeah. See, but you can't get into
without
that.
Without Connor's trade, Connor would have Jalen Waddle right now.
No.
And Justin Fields. Without the trade, Connor would have Jalen Waddle and Justin Fields.
I guess if he traded his second pick to Jeff, yeah.
Which I'm assuming he would have done that.
Did Jeff offer you that trade, or did you offer him?
Yeah, I was sitting on it for a while because we did the running clock or whatever when timed picks, and yeah, he texted me. I was about to take. I think I might have taken. Maybe Gibbs was there. Still, yeah, because I guess Boyd took Bijan. Yeah, so I was gonna maybe take Gibbs, and then he texted me like 10 minutes before I was gonna do it, and we kind of went back and forth for a little bit, and then came to that.
Jeff.
Yeah, I'll be interested to revisit these at the end of the year and see where these kickers fell in line.
Yeah, we'll have to do a segment for all the rankings and see how everybody lined up.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right, defense, special teams. 12, Jeff. 11, Mush. You can see him on the screen. I hope this is recording the PowerPoint and not just our faces.
That'd be something, wouldn't it? Yeah, I won't spend too much time. So
Yeah, this is hard to rank.
I looked at my opinion of the defense ability to be like a season long defense where you don't have to work off the waiver wire. I looked at first round or first week matchup, and I looked at where they took them. So Gary, I think the Steelers is probably the second best defense, and he got them after the 49ers were taken. So I'll give him the edge there. And it's pretty much 1 and 1A for him and Boyd. I think the 49ers are going to be great too. I talked about the Cowboys already. Maybe talk about some of the week one. So Commanders, yeah, you get them week one, they'll be good, but then you won't be able to use them. You might be able to use them, but basically, the season-long defenses kind of took the cake 1 through 7, and Commanders were next. Falcons kind of the same thing. They'll be good week one against a rookie quarterback at home, and then won't be able to use them again probably. And then not much to say about these other two. I think the Broncos. I forgot the schedule, but Broncos are have a tough matchup. Jets are playing the Bills, and Dolphins was the biggest head. I think they are on the road against the Chargers, and they're not supposed to be a good defense this year.
He must have only picked that one too.
So if I could give Jeff a 13, I would.
Jeff was high. He was high.
That's true. He probably
Can't
was.
blame him. Poor guy.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the former champ, the Indianapolis Colts of fantasy football, because he was good, but now he sucks.
No,
These are Matt's rankings.
Go fuck yourself.
That's good.
That's funny. All right.
All right. Do you want me to do the same thing? Just kind of bring them all up and talk about them, or you want to go one by one?
That's fine. Go ahead and bring them all up, and I'll just
Okay.
go down the line. I'm a little bit concerned that I'm going to question my own rankings, honestly.
Yeah, I was too, because you did them quickly. I remember you said so.
I mean, quickly too.
You get so like in your eyes, it just gets so hard to keep them all.
Once you get in the middle, it's hard to like choose who's better.
You're like, oh yeah, this team's probably about a 6, and then you're like, look at the next team, you're like, well, that team's kind of good, so maybe I'll give them a 5, and you're like, well, there's 6 other teams who are better than that 5. So yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, it's hard. So okay, I'll try to go team by team. So 12, Gary, Tony Pollard, I think will be good. We don't know how he'll be as an RB1. You know, he's going to get the full workload. I don't know if he's going to stay healthy to, and just there's a lot of unknowns there. AJ Dillon's an RB2 in his own fucking offense, let alone an RB2 on a fantasy team.
Yeah.
He'll be lucky to fall in the end zone 8 times, maybe 800 yards. Like, I'm just not super impressed. Jamal Williams is literally a locker room guy. That's why he's on the team. And Joshua Kelly is a hope and a prayer that Eckler gets hurt, and then a hope and a prayer that he's actually fucking good. So I'm not. Yeah, he's had his chances. I'm not impressed.
Jamal Williams is gonna have a good 2 weeks though. I'll give you that, Gary.
It's true. Yeah. Or 4, and yeah, for Kamara.
Yeah. But good luck.
Kamara's out
good
3.
luck guessing when those are gonna happen. Zach, let's see. Javonte Williams. I like Javonte. He's coming off injury. I will say from what I've heard from one Stephania Bell, coming off an ACL injury, you're highly likely to get a soft tissue injury. So I'm just waiting for Javonte to pull a hamstring. So we'll see.
It's crazy that he's back. So
and guess who has Samaji?
Yeah, that's right. And then
he's gonna have you're right. He's gonna have a hamstring. He's gonna have an ankle sprain. He's gonna have something by compensating for the knee.
Right. And JK, I drafted him early in our initial. I think he was a round 5 pick for me in our initial dynasty draft. So I'm a big JK fan. I hope he does well. The runs that he made last season, even though he like broke off for 30 or 40 yards, the limp was atrocious. I hope he's healthier.
That was awesome.
Um,
He just
I
limped to
think
the end zone and no one could catch him.
Yeah, I think if he's healthy, I think he'll be a stud. I think he's a better pick than Javonte, but we'll see.
Hills, can I bring up a explain yourself?
Sure.
Boats at 3.
Huh?
Argosy Boats at 3.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, that may be a horrible choice. Devin Singletary, I don't think is good.
I'm pretty sure he's already dropped him.
Davion.
Stop.
Davion, yeah.
His name is Devon. He may be the guy in Miami. Who knows?
Yeah, he might be good, but I don't know. I think if Miami's offense is going to be good, it's going to be a pass-heavy offense. So I'm not concerned with the RB.
For sure.
I don't even know who Chase Brown is, so I'm going to skip him.
He's going to be the new Samaje Perine.
Well, that's not great. So Corey, Bijan, there is a route for Bijan to be the RB1. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's possible. Atlanta's offense is good, or Atlanta's offensive line is good. From what I've heard, one of the best in the league. Bijan is supposedly, a Saquon-esque talent at a college. So
I hear they got a really good kicker.
Apparently. So probably a good pick. Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, he is in a committee at best. We never seen him play. He seems like a third down back to me. I think Monty's going to get the red zone carries. I don't have a whole lot of hope for Jahmyr this season. He seems a little bit like James Cook last season. Elijah Mitchell will be good when CMC gets hurt. Not if, but when. Kenneth Gainwell is a good 4th running back, but nothing to write home about. Keontae Ingram, I had him in Dynasty. I dropped him. Not worth a roster spot. Sneeze probably should be behind everybody. I would say he should probably be 11 now. I'll put him in front of Gary. I think Josh Jacobs is probably the most boring running back to pick, but I think he's phenomenal. I think he's great. I think he's a positive yardage guy. I think he's a great goal line guy. Pacheco, I think, could be a good running back, but I think he's stuck in an offense where he's just not going to be utilized to his full capacity. He may score 6 to 7 touchdowns this year, but I think it's going to be like 2 in week 2, 2 in week 7, 1 in week 9, and 1 in week 13. Just
not a bad assessment.
No consistency.
That was only 6, but that was a bad assessment, or not a bad assessment.
Yeah, I just don't think he's going to be. He may get 80 yards in a game. I just don't. I think he's more of a flex than an RB2. Jeff Wilson Jr. may not. I don't know.
No, later.
Possibly droppable. Brian Robinson might not be the best running back in his own team, and his team is not great.
He's not.
And Kyron Williams, again, I don't even know who the fuck he is, so I'm going to skip him. Connor, I really like Connor's top 2. I do. I think CMC, if he stays healthy, is the RB1. I don't think it's questionable. I think he's the guy. I think he's in a phenomenal offense. I think Shanahan's going to use him better than any coach has ever used him before.
Go on, keep going.
I mean, the only question is if he stays healthy. That's the only question.
That's a question for everybody.
And also, we got, Sleeper sent out a thing the other day that Shanahan said they're going to use him less often than the Panthers did to try to keep him healthy. that doesn't scare me at all, honestly, because he's just
Shanahan
efficient.
used him more than the Panthers did in the last 8 games of the season last year. So.
Yeah, and he's king efficiency, and he's just
Yeah,
a
it doesn't matter.
phenomenal football player. Dalvin, I am hesitant to buy into the Jets hype, just because they're the talk of the offseason. They're on Hard Knocks, blah blah blah.
But you know who didn't play on Hard Knocks? Is Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, but the whole Jets team did.
What if I told you 7th round?
Yeah, I think it's great value. I'm upset I didn't take him. Yeah, that's fair. The Zach Charbonnet hype. Maybe, I don't know if this is because I have Ken Walker or if I thought this before I had Ken Walker. I think it's a little bit overdone. He's a rookie. We don't know what he's going to do, but he's in a top 5 run heavy offense. And with the coach who doesn't fuck around with trying to pass at the goal line. So whether that's beneficial to Kenneth Walker or Charbonnet, we'll see. I don't know.
I gotta stop you real fast. You keep bringing up Ken Walker. Don't you think he's probably a little too old to be playing football?
Who is Ken Walker?
Yeah, he's a little too old. You mean the third?
I don't know the reference.
I don't know the reference.
The third. He's the third.
I mean, come on, Teebs. I'm shortening his first name. We can leave out the third.
Well, that's his grandpa or something.
Grandpa's
he's too old to be playing. He can't run.
You're in Nimrod. Algier, we'll see. I think Bijan's going to be a workhorse, so I don't really see much value in Algier unless Bijan gets hurt. Tank, I like. I mean, Doug has mentioned that he's going to be a consistently, built up part of the offense as the season goes on.
Big Tank guy.
And I'm a big Jacksonville guy this year. I love Jacksonville.
Yeah, big Tank guy.
So I think Tank Bigsby could be good. Condre Miller, I don't know shit about him. Raheem Mostert, I think, is one of the most explosive backs in the league, but can't stay healthy. So
I just need him for a couple weeks.
We'll see. Fisher, Fisher went wide receiver heavy, so I don't think he can be too upset about being kind of low, kind of middling in the running back department. But for the investment he put in the wide receivers, I think the return on running back he got was quite phenomenal, to be quite honest. Miles Sanders will be a workhorse, whether he's good or not, I don't know. James Conner will be a workhorse. Monty will get goal line carries. Damian, I think at best scores 6 touchdowns. I think probably the over-under is 4.5 for him. Kareem might sign somewhere. You never know. He may go to Miami. We'll find out.
And I will say, I think I updated this after. I don't think he actually drafted Kareem. I think he picked him up on waivers, and I put him in there because when I was making this, I noticed that. So I don't know that he drafted him.
That's fine. Shane.
Yeah, he drafted Clyde, and then he picked up Kareem.
That's right. He did. He drafted Clyde.
So maybe I need to move him up.
That was just a good decision on his end. Yeah. Schmitty, I love ETN. Honestly, I love Alexander Madison. Certainly a little bit of bias in the fact that I have him on my dynasty squad. I traded him to Connor for fucking Alan Lazard, which just feels like an absolute steal at this point.
Well, sure, now it does.
I always felt that way, but that's fine. That's fine.
Alexander Madison's in his 4th or 5th year in the league. He's
25 years old. He's
gonna have to do it this year, and then he's gonna be in fucking running back can't get a deal purgatory like every other fucking running back is. And that's gonna be it.
No, because he doesn't have the name. He doesn't have the name. He's gonna be fine. He'll sign for 1 year, 2 years, 15 mil. He'll be fine. Cam Akers might be good. I don't know. He was good for like half a season. Like, we don't fucking know. The Rams are gonna fucking suck.
He tore his Achilles. Is he good?
No, he's not. No.
I do have a future on the Rams
to win. It's hard to come back from.
I have a future on the Rams to win the West and to win the Super Bowl, which is not a good bet, but but I did it just for the value.
They're going to need to get Cooper Kupp back if they have any shot.
For sure. I do think Zeke holds a lot of value in a non-PPR league. I think he could easily, in a flex position, score you 2 touchdowns any week. I think he'll get a lot of goal line carries. I think he is the LeGarrette.
It'll be 2 touchdowns, 10 yards.
For sure. But as we know, 2 touchdowns.
But that's valuable.
Valuable.
That's the Jamal Williams of last year.
For sure. And Tyjae Spears, I guess he's the backup to Derrick Henry. That definitely holds value. I'm a little nervous about drafting Derrick first round, to be quite honest. I think Derrick is still a king. I mean, he scored 10 touchdowns, had like 1,400 yards last year, and had like a borderline down season. So I think he's still a fucking animal.
Yeah, he did that in like 12 games or something stupid.
Right, but he's getting old, and injury is always a concern. So that's fair. Jeff, I wanted Nick Chubb over Derrick Henry. I was upset, audibly upset whenever he drafted Nick Chubb. So I think that's just a phenomenal pick. I would put him at my RB2, just in front or just behind Christian McCaffrey. I would like Nick Chubb more than Austin Eckler personally. Najee, I think, will be good this year because I think Pittsburgh offense will be better this year. Breece Hall, I think, will still hold easy flex value. I think he'll be a top 30 running back for sure. He was electric last year until he got hurt. He was a stud. He had breakaway speed. Phenomenal. Rashad Penny is in a great offense. I still think DeAndre Swift's a great running back, as you can tell by my Bustas as my number 1 running back pick. But Rashad Penny's definitely going to score some tuds. Jaylen Warren is supposedly a sleeper. And Deontay Foreman is now on my team, which I'm happy about. Okay.
Like your team in this league?
Correct.
Okay.
Jeff dropped him and I picked him up because I'm concerned a little bit about Khalil, and it's a good handcuff.
Okay.
Myself at 4. I sell myself short. I should be far in front of John. That's just embarrassing on my end. And honestly, I probably should be in front of the Trains as well. But I do. But what I love about the Trains team is James Cook at 4.
Yeah.
So we'll get there. Derrick Henry's the king. He's fucking great. What is he? 29, 30 years old. He's basically the same as. Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter. He's fucking huge. He hits people hard, and he's going to dominate in the second half. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to be a top 5 running back. I'm not concerned about it. The only concern is health, which you can't worry about in fantasy because it's football and people are going to get hurt. It just is what it is. Ken Walker, I think, was phenomenal last year in his rookie season. He's in a very run-heavy offense that doesn't fuck around and do stupid shit. Pete Carroll is a very straightforward coach. He's going to call, well, I shouldn't even fucking say that because Russell Wilson threw the fucking pick in the Super Bowl. But I think he learned his lesson, and he's going to call running plays within the 10-yard line. And I think Ken Walker is a guy. I think he's just a fucking guy. Khalil could easily be a top 15 running back in this offense. I don't love the fact that I have to watch Russ or Justin Fields, do a RPO at the 3-yard line and watch him run in a easy ass touchdown. Probably
you're gonna be watching that a lot.
Yeah, probably 6 times this year. Yeah. It's gonna be annoying as fuck. But I think Khalil could easily get me 8 points just on yards any week at my flex, which so I'm happy about that. Samaje Perine is the backup to Javonte. I think he'll get, enough play to give me a few points each week. I think Javonte could easily, as I mentioned, pull a hamstring anytime. I think they're going to use Javonte too much, probably, which just, if they don't, then it plays into Samaje. And if they do, he'll get hurt and it plays into Samaje. So I'm happy with him at my 4th. Gus Edwards, the same thing with JK. I think he's a hamstring waiting to happen. Gus Edwards is a very, very good running back. I think he is Alexander Madison-esque, just doesn't have the top position yet. And Jerome Ford, I mean, Nick Chubb's got to get hurt some point in time. He's never been hurt his whole fucking career. So he's got to get hurt. He's got to get hurt at some point in time. The boats, I don't know, guys. I love JT. JT is a top 3 running back in the league. The question is he gonna?
Do you love him missing 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, is he gonna play? I mean, this was before the PUP list happened. To be fair,
yeah.
But I think JT's great. Aaron Jones, I think, is an absolute sleeper this year. I think Jordan Love is gonna absolutely just dump off to him all the fucking time. I think he's gonna have 4 or 5 games with 10 plus receptions for 70 yards, on top of 15 carries for 60 yards. You don't even get a touchdown in there, and he's gonna get 15 points. If you throw a touchdown in there, he's gonna be great. Rashad White is really the only running back that Tampa Bay has. I think Baker is better than what he's given credit for. Baker, did they beat the Steelers in the playoffs? Or did the Steelers beat them in the playoffs a couple of years ago?
Was he on the Browns?
Yeah.
I
think they beat the Steelers.
The Browns were played in the playoffs.
The Browns they almost beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so I think the Browns beat the Steelers.
Yeah. Point being is Baker's
Baker's fine. I think Tampa's going to be fine.
Yeah. Gibby could be the RB1 potentially. He's definitely going to get some receiving work.
Don't call him Gibby. He doesn't like being called Gibby.
That's fine, Antonio. Tony Gibson. And Jerick McKinnon is old as fuck, but he probably will still score 4 touchdowns this year, some way, somehow.
They're gonna dump it off to him a lot.
Yeah, the trains. I love Saquon. Saquon signed a deal. It's only 1 year. He's got something to prove. He's gonna stay healthy, hopefully.
He doesn't have shit to prove.
Well, if he wants to fucking get paid next year, he does.
No, it's gonna be the same shit next year. They just don't pay running backs.
Well, Saquon's still a generational talent. Ramondre is also an offense that doesn't fuck around and do stupid shit. They fucking run the ball at the goal line. He's going to score probably 10 tuds this year. Dameon Pierce is just a solid running back. He's really the only running back that's going to go between the tackles. Singletary's a fucking scat back. Just ask Fisher. James Cook is an absolute steal at a running back 4. Just a great running back draft from Teebs.
Who do you even start, Teebs? I mean, shit.
I know, you got 4 starters right there.
Right. And then, as I already mentioned in Connor's running back ranks, I really love the Bustas. Austin Eckler scored 17 tuds last year. He's a dual threat. He had a slow start last year, a horribly slow start, and still scored 16, 17 tuds.
Yeah, he's a demon.
Yeah, Mixon's in a great offense. There's no concern about anybody behind him. Samaje's gone. He's the dude. Kamara, yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced Kamara's an actual good between the tackle running back, but he's a great shifty guy. And I think DeAndre at your running back 4 is just phenomenal. I think he's easily could be a running back, top 20 running back in a phenomenal offense. You're going to have the Khalil Herbert treatment where you're going to have to watch Jalen Hurts run in 10 tuds this year, but
who's got him?
Just is what it is. So that's my rankings. And honestly, I don't. Yeah, I don't dislike any of them. I think they're
not even Boats at 3.
Yeah, Boats at 3 was a mistake. But if JT plays,
you said you put Sneeze lower too.
That's hindsight. That's hindsight. So is the Boats because JT wasn't on PUP when I ranked him.
You really say PUP? I always said the pup list.
Yeah, it's the pup.
Fine, pup.
Hills, do you just want to pick out some highlights here at wide receiver once Teebs brings them up?
I mean, yeah, we're already hour and a half in. It's going to be It's a long podcast.
That's all right.
We gotta keep the listeners hooked in, you know.
This is fun though. It's our
It's
first one.
fun.
We gotta learn from our mistakes.
It's fun for sure.
I mean, I don't think I need to dwell on Jeff. Connor already talked about it.
Yeah, I think
I'm
like we said,
pretty
we
sure
all have him at 12.
We
We're
all
on
have them
the
at 12.
same-
There's just
same
there's no question.
Yeah, the boats real quick. Tyreek Hill, I think, is great. I don't trust Tua to stay healthy. That's why I don't like his team. Yeah, Andre is in a run-heavy offense. Tyler Lockett is boomer bust. Odell's old. Rondale Moore is in a shitty fucking team. Tyler Boyd, I think, is probably his best pick at wide receiver.
No, come on, Tyreek Hill. I mean,
Yeah, Tyreek's
Tyreek's
10.
gonna be
yes,
good.
for the value that he got it, I think Tyler Boyd's his best pick. Tyreek Hill is obviously the best wide receiver.
I think he got Tyreek he got him at 10. That's pretty good. I'll give that to you, John.
Corey's team has a lot of promise. It's just too young for me to have confidence in. I love Garrett Wilson. He's on my dynasty team. I think he's going to be a great receiver in his career. I just don't buy the Jets this year. There's just too much hype around him. It's just a classic, like, you're going to disappoint me team. The Jets are. Watson, I think Dobbs is the dude there. I don't know if Watson's the dude. I don't know if they're going to be a good offense. Ayuk, I think, is a great pick, but still a run-heavy offense and a team that spreads it around. Cooks, I think, could be easily a top 30 wide receiver. I think it's a good pick. But again, there's not an obvious guy there on Corey's team for me.
Yeah. Now, Hills, you have Gary at 9. The lowest anyone else has him is at 5.
So my thought with Gary is I love his first two.
Yep.
I like Stephon. I like Devonta. But having your wide receiver 2 be a wide receiver 2 on his own team is not ideal for me. Plus, you got Dallas Goedert to deal with. I think Devonta can be a yardage guy. I don't think he's going to be a big touchdown guy, not a big frame. He's a small guy. He did good in college because of that. But I think he's going to score maybe 6, maybe 7 touchdowns, but maybe get 1,100 yards. I think A.J. Brown's easily a 1,400 10 touchdown guy because of his frame.
Okay.
I think Goddard could also be a 1,000-yard guy if you want it to be. So honestly, I think I jet myself here. I think I was being too humble. I like my top 2 for sure. I think Sky Moore will be a big part of the KC offense. I think Gabe Davis will easily be a top 30 wide receiver. I just think it's going to be hit or miss when he hits. And Romeo Doubs I've already dropped, so I don't give a fuck about him.
Teebs train has you at 2 at wide receiver, so maybe we'll get into that a little later. But yeah, Teebs definitely thinks you gypped yourself.
Well, Teebs is a big KC guy, so he may be a little homer pick there with Sky Moore.
I don't think it was based on that, no.
Shannon again, I won't dwell on myself, but DK I think is a solid wide receiver 2. I don't think he has any shot at being a wide receiver 1. Keenan, I think, is a better shot at being a wide receiver 1, but he's been around for so fucking long. Like, he's got to drop off eventually, right? Like,
Next year.
You just gotta assume eventually. Hollywood, I don't want any part of Arizona's team at all. You can keep him. Zay Flowers, I think, is a great pick. I think Zay Flowers is a great pick. I think he will potentially be better than Odell. I think he's the number 1 wide receiver option behind Mark Andrews as a receiving option in that offense.
Certainly not the 11th best wide receiver core, though, wouldn't you say, Hills?
No, I would not say that, not at all.
Okay, yeah, just
I
want to make sure.
I mean, DK is going to score 7+ each year because he's so big, and probably 1,000 yards because he's so big.
That's for you, Cameron, if you stayed on.
So DK is good. The Bustas CD. I like CD. I think he's still needs to prove himself a little bit as a wide receiver 1. I don't think he's quite shown the consistency that we want. Mike Evans, we just don't fucking know what Tampa Bay is going to do. Kirksey, I think he's great. He's going to be behind Ridley, as you'll see.
Who's got him in Dynasty?
He won't be behind. He'll be the number 1 guy. Ridley will be behind Kirk.
No, Ridley's going to be the dude. Kirk, it might be second, might be third behind Ingram, might be third behind fucking
ETN.
Zay Jones,
No,
ETN. Like there's Kadarius Toney, you've already dropped him. Boyd, I really wanted him. I'm upset I didn't get him. I put a waiver in for him.
Who got him?
I don't know.
Zach,
maybe Mushball. Yeah, that sounds right.
I think it's Zach or Shane. Jameson, we've already talked about him. I don't need to dwell on him any longer. And DJ Chark on Carolina, you can drop him because Carolina's offense is gonna fucking be brutal, and they've got Adam Thielen
and DJ Chark has a hamstring injury, won't play till like week 4.
So Boyd, consider
Even
this
worse.
a courtesy. Just drop him right now. There you go, bud.
Yeah.
Holy Schmitty, Jamar. I'm a big Jamar fan. Jamar still needs to show another level of consistency for me to be on the JJ level, personally. And that is coming from a very unbiased opinion because I have Jamar for the rest of my life, unless somebody wants to offer me a ridiculous trade for him. I love
Stay
Jamar.
tuned.
I think JJ is still easily. I think JJ and Cooper are still easily a notch above Jamar in fantasy. Mike Williams is incredibly hit or miss. You're hoping that he gains some consistency this year. He might. Keenan's getting old, but we don't know. 5 minutes left in our meeting. What the fuck?
It's fine. It'll keep going.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will.
Jordan Addison, I think is a great pick.
I think I said it
he'll
for
be
2
good,
hours.
but I think he's a flex option. Paris Campbell, drop him right now. Teebs.
He's the wide receiver 1 in New York.
He's wide receiver 2 behind Evan or Darren Waller in New York. Actually,
Right.
wide receiver
Who has
3.
Waller?
Fuck you. And Saquon's number 2 in that offense, that wide receiver. So Teebs train Amon-Ra. I love the dude. I think
Now
he's
Hills. Teebs train, you have at number 4. The highest that anyone else has him is at 7. You're gonna have to explain yourself a little bit.
for sure. Amon-Ra, I love.
Okay.
Amon-Ra, St. Brown. I think Detroit is in a fairly weak division. I think they're in a very weak conference. I think Jared Goff is a criminally underrated quarterback in the sense of moving the ball.
Absolutely, he is. Yes, he is.
Yeah, I think Jared Goff is very serviceable.
Who's
and I
got
think
him in
Amon-Ra,
Dynasty? Someone's really cashing in on Jared Goff.
Nobody cares. I think Amon-Ra is a star. I think he is definitely a top 12 wide receiver. Good job. Deontay Johnson, I think, is the best wide receiver in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I think the hype on George Pickens has gone too far.
Who did I put as your best pick? Was it a running back?
Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, Deontay Johnson is close second. I mean, he's gonna be good.
I think Deontay is easily a top 24 receiver. I think he could easily find himself in the top 15.
Yeah.
I like Deontay a lot. I like Pittsburgh a lot. Jerry Jeudy, again, this is pre him injuring his hamstring again. But I think Jerry Jeudy is just an explosive receiver when he's healthy. But, fuck me, he got hurt already again. I trade him from Dynasty because he's a fucking bum. Thanks, Boyd, for Stephon Diggs for the next 3 years. Appreciate it. Have fun with Christian Watson and Jerry Jeudy.
Have fun, Boyd.
Michael Thomas. I mean, Michael Thomas could be great. He could be a flop. He could be great. We don't know, but he's his 4th receiver. I think that's a great value. Elijah Moore. If I'm going to believe in my quarterback, I'm going to believe in Elijah Moore. Wide receiver 5, I think is just phenomenal depth. Alan Lazard with his only QBs ever played with at your wide receiver 6. At the wide receiver 2 in his own offense, I think is phenomenal. Darnell Mooney, again, great. And then you cap it off Michael Gallup as your 8th pick, 8th receiver. Certainly far too many fucking receivers on your team, but
It is, yeah.
trim it. I mean, trim it down. But I think Michael Gallup was also, I mean, I think he's the wide receiver 3 in a pass-heavy offense. So I think he'll be fine. Jacob's fantasy team. First off, fuck you, Fisher. You're a fucking dumb for just being yourself and also drafting CJ Stroud, who's also a dumb. JJ was, I don't think JJ was my clear cut 101, but I think I may have drafted him 101. I probably would have drafted CMC personally.
Yeah, you would have.
Your gritty was fucking terrible. You rushed it way too much. You had way too much forward movement with it.
Fishy gritty?
Yeah, just enjoy
he
it.
acted like he was gonna run. It's like time to draft, and he's like, "All right, I got to go take a leak." So he gets up and goes halfway up the stairs. And he comes running back down, starts grittying to, I guess, show that he's taking JJ. But
Right.
yeah, it was horrible.
But it was comparable to like the Kelsey Gesicki gritty.
Like Mac
It's
Jones.
it's not a Teeps caliber gritty.
Like Mac Jones gritty.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Like Adam Schefter.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle is a phenomenal wide receiver too. I think he'll be the wide receiver to his own offense, but I think he could be easily a top 10 wide receiver if Tua stays healthy. It's unfortunate that I punished the boats for Tyreek Hill because of Tua, but I rewarded Jacob's fantasy team for Jalen Waddle. That was an overlook on my part, but to be fair, Jalen Waddle is number 2, JJ is number 1. Terry McLaurin is a phenomenal talent that has been chronically on a shitty franchise. I hope for his sake that getting rid of their owner does him better. We'll see. Michael Pittman is going to be on probably a top 10 run-heavy offense this year. I think Michael Pittman's a great talent. I just don't see Anthony Richardson giving him the ball enough to really make him super fantasy relevant.
Certainly a bottom 10 passing offense, even if they're not top 10 rushing.
And mentioned run-heavy offense, Treylon Burks, I think is a wide receiver 2 and a very run-heavy offense who has never proven himself as a second-year receiver. I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be that good this year. Jacoby Myers, I think, is probably better than Treylon Burks fantasy-wise, maybe better than Michael Pittman in the sense of opportunity per game fantasy-wise. So good pick there. Mush, Devontae Adams is a stud, has been a stud for many years. Obviously, I chose talent over team for this pick because Devontae Adams is probably a Hall of Famer, to be quite frank. So he's great. T. Higgins, T. Higgins is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver with 6+ touchdowns. He'll be a fine wide receiver too. DJ Moore could easily be a top 20 wide receiver at your flex. That's great value. Drake London could easily be a top 30 wide receiver as your 4th. And Jackson Smith and Jigba is just, from what I understand, a great talent wide receiver. Garrett Wilson has admittedly said that Jackson is better than him.
So has Olave.
So is Olave.
They both play for the same team.
You all let Jackson fall to the 8th pick in the dynasty draft?
Yeah, I wasn't happy about that, bud. Wasn't happy, but I got Cooper for him, so I'll take Cooper. But he's also in a run-heavy offense with 2 superior receivers in front of him. So I'm not too concerned about him this year, but I think he's
with a broken wrist.
I think he's a good dynasty pick.
Yeah.
Sneeze, I fucking hate to do this, believe me. And honestly, now that Cooper's hurt, I would love to push you back further. But honestly, I may keep you up at number 1. Cooper Kupp at the 12th is a steal. Cooper Kupp, when healthy with Matthew Stafford, is probably the best wide receiver in fantasy. It just doesn't look as cool because he doesn't have any swag like JJ does when he fucking gets a touchdown. Debo was underwhelming last year. I think he's a fine wide receiver too. I don't think without the backfield play, he's going to be a wide receiver 1. So he's fine. But I love the Calvin Ridley pick. I think Calvin could easily be a top 15 receiver. And honestly, that's Calvin Ridley is the only reason I have you at number 1.
I was
really
going to
like
say Calvin has to be a reason because Fisher was number 1 for Teebs and for Sneeze, which Teebs will probably get into.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to be high on Calvin Ridley to like that.
I was, and I wanted Calvin the round that he took him, and he took him in front of me, which is fine because I think I probably got Khalil that round, which I think in this league probably matters more.
Yeah.
So, great pick. I love Calvin. Thielen, I think, is fine. Don't get a boner. Don't get a boner for him like you already have.
Don't get a boner for Adam Thielen with a rookie quarterback.
MVS might score 4 tuds this year. I think that's his absolute ceiling. That's it. I mean, 6 tuds is probably his ceiling, but that's it.
He'll score 3 in one game.
Yeah, there's too many. Yeah, he's gonna have to get deep balls because Kelsey's getting anything inside the red zone.
I mean, Mahomes is going to have to throw to somebody, but there's no way of predicting who it is. There's just no way.
Yeah, they got a bunch of average guys.
Denard Robinson was a guy like a few years ago for them.
DeMarcus Robinson, you mean?
Sure. I don't fucking Davion, Devon, DeMarcus, DeMar. It doesn't.
He's on the Rams.
I mean, yeah.
All right. I'll go as quickly as I can through this.
Quarterbacks, tight ends.
So, John, I love Joe Burrow. Gino's a fine backup. I didn't really put any emphasis into backups of any QB or tight end. I just looked at the starters. Luke Musgrave is a huge question mark. Kirk Cousins for Cheap Train is a fine top 15, 12 to 15 QB, 10 to 15 QB. Evan Ingram has a lot of mouths to feed that offense. I think he might score 6 tuds, but I think he's probably capped out at about 700-800 yards. Bustas, George Kittle is always a sexy name in fantasy, but doesn't ever seem to really fully work out for a full season.
You have Busta's the lowest for sure.
A-Rod, again, I want to buy the Jets hype. I'm not buying it yet. I got to see it. Fisher, Josh Allen's a fucking stud. Njoku has been a name for 5 or 6 years and has never actually had a fantasy relevant season. I'm not high on him yet. And again, I'm nervous about Deshaun. Sneeze, Justin Herbert is a top 7, top 5 QB. Cole Kmet is a touchdown only tight end. Not impressed. Corey,
I just
Trevor
want to
Lawrence.
jump in real fast. I will forever hate Justin Herbert whenever we had the bet for him to throw a touchdown pass and he didn't when they were giving out like the boost for it or whatever. I will forever hate him for that. So.
Was it a no-brainer?
It was.
I think they maybe listed it as no-brainer bet.
That was sickening.
Yeah. All right.
I don't remember being on that, but I'm surprised I wasn't.
Trevor Lawrence,
I wanted. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. I'm going to continue with my thing, so you go ahead.
I feel like the no-brainers are usually better than that, like throwing a touchdown, but still, that's bullshit.
Yeah, and it was like the Monday night game or something too, so like everybody was watching it and they were all throwing a fit about it on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Trevor Lawrence, I wanted instead of Deshaun for mostly morals. But Corey took him right in front of me.
Hey, you don't know. Trevor Lawrence could have taken advantage of some girls.
There ain't no fucking way with that hair. He took advantage of any girl.
Yeah, and that nose too. Jesus.
Dude, Trevor Lawrence pulls.
He might be gay. Which I'm fine with.
I'm
fine
pretty sure he got engaged
Nothing
while
wrong
he
with
was
that.
at school.
No,
Not that
I'm
there's anything wrong with that.
pro LGBTQ. For the sake of if this podcast goes famous, I'm pro LGBTQ.
All of us are.
All of us are.
Just
Besides
live your
maybe-
life, Trevor.
I'm a reverend for two.
Besides Sneeze, because he's pro Trump. Kyle Pitts, I think, is a generational talent. I think he got drafted by an awful team. I got to see it from him before I trust him. Schmidt, I mean, honestly, 6 on down is just good. Honestly, I have no fucking clue why I put Jeff in front of Shane. That was a big mistake. I like Mahomes obviously way better than Dak, and I personally like. Oh no, excuse me. I'm sorry. I saw Higbee. I didn't see TJ.
Higbee's a great pick. I don't know why I didn't highlight that for Jeff, but Higbee
But
was
why
like,
would he ever play him if he's got Hawkinson? He's gonna put Hawkinson in there every week.
Right.
that may be why I didn't like it. But Higbee's, especially with Cup out early, I mean, Higbee's going to have like top 5 targets at the tight end position.
Well, he's gonna play Hawkinson. So I like Mahomes as a top 3 QB.
Teams
above
also had
Dak.
Jeff at 5, just for the record.
I do like Hawkinson well above Freiermuth, although I think Freiermuth will have a good year. I think Freiermuth is a good fantasy, middle tier tight end. Jeff, I think Dak will have a good year. I think Dak has a plethora of weapons at his disposal, and I think TJ is undoubtedly a top 5 tight end for fantasy. Myself, I think Mark Andrews is the easy tight end 2. I don't think there's really any debate for me for that. I think Kelsey is, I would say 300 yards above him in fantasy relevance. But I think in terms of touchdowns, I think it's fairly close. And the only reason I have myself at 4 is because I'm still concerned about Deshaun. I really wanted T-Law, but I think at his best, Deshaun is better than T-Law. He just hasn't played in a fucking year or 2. Gary, I'm a big fan of Lamar this year. I think the Ravens are going to be a phenomenal team. I think Lamar is going to show up and show out. I think he's got his contract. I think he's playing risk-free. And I think Dallas Goedert is a criminally underrated fantasy tight end and a fairly good offense. I think he's going to get easily 800 yards and 6 tuds at his at his floor. I think it only goes up from there. Connor, I love Jalen Hurts. I love Darren Waller. I don't need to say much more than that. Jalen Hurts is a fucking stud. He could easily be QB1 again. He could easily score 10 touchdowns by himself and throw for 30 more. He could easily run for 600 to 800 yards. Like, he's just a fucking stud. He's an absolute stud. And Darren Waller, there's just zero competition for targets in that offense. The only concern is him being double teamed every time because he's a great talent. But even then, he's 6 foot, 6, and can probably just jump over everybody. And then Travis Kelce is the clear-cut tight end 1. He has been for years. He's guaranteed 1,000 yards. He's guaranteed, I don't know the stats, 8+ touchdowns. He's the best quarterback in the league's safety blanket. He's just phenomenal. And he's the, what did I say?
Quarterback.
He's the best quarterback safety blanket.
Yeah, neck on you.
Yeah, neck.
You said quarterback for sure.
He's the best quarterback safety blanket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And he's the only tight end that the 0.2 PPR actually matters for. Could easily get an extra 2 points. That could save you a win. And Justin Fields is, could easily be this year's Jalen Hurts. I'm a big fan of Justin Fields this year. I don't think he's a great arm talent, but I think he's a phenomenal leg talent. And I wouldn't be surprised if he rushed for, this is certainly the ceiling, but 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns on top of throwing. That's my case.
All right.
So Cameron has Shane at number 2, and I would just love to take this opportunity to talk about why he's wrong.
Because if Cameron could suck Pat Mahomes' dick, I think he would, and I think he'd pay Pat to do it.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's blasphemous.
It has to be all because of Mahomes, because the tight end's nothing to really write home about.
I mean, Fryermuth's a top 10 tight end, but as Cameron would
But
say,
that's not really...
there's only 12 teams in the league, so a top 10 tight end doesn't mean anything. As he told fucking Cole Kmet, who's going to get 600 yards and 5 tugs this year.
If that. Anyways. All right.
Just
we'll
had to
move
bring that up.
on. What's that?
Just had to bring that up.
Yeah. We'll move on to Mr. 3-time, the champ, the all-time rings leader,
Fuck you,
the
Teach.
dictator, Cameron's
Yeah.
picks.
The dictator's
You got to give him his credit, but at the same time, bring him back down to earth.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just speed through these because obviously we don't know his breakdown. Just kind of pull him up and then take a peek at him.
He's going to love mine because he want to Khalil Herbert so bad.
There you go. I don't know. Anything stand out?
So he's got John at 11 for running back, which, I think Hills had him too high, but I think Cameron has him too low. 11 is by far the lowest. I think I have him at 8. Teebs has him at 6. So I think he's definitely more of a
Fisher at 10
middle
is
of the
kind of
road.
low.
Fisher at 10. I mean, Fisher doesn't have an RB1, which is an argument, but Fisher has
three solid starters.
Plenty of solid starters.
Yeah.
And I think he's got himself criminally overrated. Like it's
yeah.
I don't know where I forget where I had him.
I have him at 6. Hills, you have him at 9. Teebs has him at 10. So yeah,
I think me and Teebs are right on par with where he should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have to say much more than that, other than he's wrong in a lot of ways.
I have something to say about it, I'm sure.
I would put Teebs train in front of myself personally.
Well,
you might have Teebs the lowest
in front of me.
Huh?
On a who?
What'd you say?
Earlier you said you'd put yourself in front of me.
Did I?
I don't know. Maybe you didn't.
Cameron has Teebs the lowest.
Your James Cook at 4 is really just giving me a little bit of a boner for your running backs, to be quite honest.
All right, let's go to those wide receivers. We don't want to get Hillsman fully erect.
It's true.
Hey, look at that. Jeff at 12.
What do you know?
I'd be interested to see where he ranks himself.
Well, I mean, I like Cameron's wide receiver, so I'm not upset about that.
I think I'm a little low. I don't know. I think I had myself at 7, but I think 10's a little bit.
He is the lowest on you.
Than Corey.
Hills has you at 4. So I mean, I have you at 7.
Yeah. Like I said, I think I had myself at 7 too.
And then he's got me at 11, which is the lowest.
I don't think I had you super high either.
No, you didn't. You had me at 9. There wasn't much in this category.
Yeah, nothing really jumps out at us.
Nothing stands out. Jacob at 1, which let's see, who was the one
I
that
think I had him at
disrespected
1
Jacob?
too.
Jacob got some disrespect from Hills, but that's about it.
Where'd I put Fisher at?
3.
That's hardly disrespect.
Listen, mute yourself.
No.
All right, I'll jump to quarterbacks, tight ends.
Now here, I think we're gonna have some.
Yeah, this is some.
Some to talk about.
Already looking at 12 here is jumps right at
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
Yeah, I'll just start at 12. I think 12 is way too low. I think Lawrence could. I think he could be a sleeper to win MVP.
Hey, Teebs, you had Corey at 11. So, wait.
Oh, did I?
I don't think you have this right.
I maybe copied it around wrong.
This is Cam's.
Yeah, Cam had. I was looking at Hills. Sorry. 12 is by far the lowest. Yeah, for Corey.
I think putting Herbert and Cole Kmet in front of Lawrence and Pitts is disgustingly inappropriate. I hope that I didn't do that. I forget.
I don't know what I did either. I'd have to look.
Let's see. Hills, you had Cameron at 8, and who was Corey? Right?
Yeah.
7.
Well, I guess criminally is exaggerated, but
and we talked about Shane, but no business being at 2.
No, I mean Mahomes is great, but
again, if Cameron could suck Mahomes' dick for if Patty paid Cameron to suck Mahomes' dick, he would do it. And then he would put that money that he made on Mahomes to cover the spread, probably.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. All right, so next up, Mr. Bottom of the Barrel, the conductor, Casey's rankings. All right, had to crumb myself a little bit. All right, 12. I'll just click through them all again. All right, I'll go quickly. We've touched on a lot of these guys already. I think 12, Mushbaugh, Javante, JK, I mean, they're okay starting to. Yeah, Singletary, like I think we already said he dropped him, so nothing there. I'm same with Hills. I don't even know who Chase Brown is, so move on. Gary, Tony Pollard, AJ Dillon. Tony Pollard, I think he'll be solid. Dillon, yeah, like we said, he's an RB2 and on his own team, so having him as your RB2 as an RB2, not great. And the
you were the only one that didn't have Gary last.
Well, I must think Mushbuzz are worse. We'll move on. 10, Sneeze. Jacobs is going to be just fine. I don't think Pacheco is going to be that great at all. I think McKinnon's going to get a lot of work there. I mean, yeah, JWJ, he's not even going to play. Brian Robinson, he'll be all right. Kyron, I guess, hope for Akers to get hurt. Fantasy team, Sanders, Connor, average starting 2, I guess. Monty, if you want to plug him in, but he'll be in a committee. Don't love it. Damian Harris, he was talking about dropping him, I guess, but I mean, he may get some goal line work. Kareem, we'll see if he even signs somewhere. Connor at 8, CMC is going to be great. Dalvin, I don't buy the hype, or I mean, I guess I don't think he's going to be anything special I think they're going to be in full-blown committee there, so I don't know that he's not going to get as much work is what I'm trying to say, I guess. The others are all backups, hope for some injuries. I guess Raheem could maybe potentially come up as the RB1 there in Miami, but we'll see. Corey, they're kind of unknowns, but have a lot of potential. Bijan, yeah, like we've said, is going to be good, we think. Jameer, who knows? The rest, I think any Philly backs are I'm not in love with any of them because there's 4 of them there. So I don't see the point really. 6, the boats. I mean, if JT ends up playing, JT's JT, so I think that's a decent pick. The other 2, Jones and Rashad, I mean, I'd be fine plugging them in each week. I think they're both going to be solid. Gibby has a chance to be flex worthy all season, and McKinnon maybe if Pacheco gets hurt. Jeff, Chubb, and Najee. Chubb's going to be fine. Najee, like I've said, I think maybe will lose his job, so I'm not in love with it. Brees, like Hills kind of said, he's explosive. He was great last year when he played. We'll just see how they manage him and Dalvin, I guess. Like I've already mentioned about the Philly backs, don't really love any of them. Warren's a good handcuff for Najee when he probably loses his job. And then he's already dropped Donta. Hills, Derrick Henry's going to be fine. Kenneth Walker will be fine. Herbert, I don't really love. I mean, I think he's probably better than Montgomery was last year. But I don't know that he's going to be much better. And Monty was bad with the Bears, so I don't know that it's that great. Samaji, like you said, with Javante getting hurt eventually, yeah, I think that's a good handcuff. And then same with Edwards. I guess if JK goes down, then yeah, that's a good pick. I don't really even know who the Jerome Ford guy is, but like you said, if Chubb goes down too, then good backup. 3 Bustas. Eckler's going to be fine. Mixon's going to be fine. Kamara, he's out for a couple of the weeks. Yeah, like we said too, I don't even know that he's even a good running back, but I mean he'll do decent, I guess, in getting you some fantasy points. And then, like I've said again, with the Philly running backs, don't really love any of them. Shane at 2. I love ETN. I wanted him. I don't know where he got him at, but going into the draft, I wanted to do what I could to get him. Madison, I think, is going to be really good too. I mean, he's Dalvin 2.0. Just I don't know that they'll use him as much as Dalvin, but when they give it to him, I think he'll be just fine. Akers, I think, will be fine in LA. Zeke, I mean, yeah, I guess he's maybe flex worthy for goal line work. And then I don't even know who Tajay is. So next. And then myself.
You must really like ETN and Madison because you have the highest anyone else has Shane is 6.
Yeah, I think they'll both be very good. I mean, who's behind ETN?
Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, he ain't gonna play. And then who's behind Madison? Absolutely nobody.
Not according to Doug. Doug says he's gonna work him in.
No.
You're right. There's no one behind Madison.
Yeah, he's gonna. I mean, like I said, he's Dalvin 2.0. I mean, he's literally the same guy. He's gonna be, I think, have a really good year. Myself, I love I mean, like we said earlier, there's 4 starters right there. Who do you pick to sit? Yeah, solid. Love them.
Can't argue with you.
All right, wide receivers. Jeff Olave is gonna be good, like we said with Jeff, just terrible core there. Shane Jamar is good. He'll be fine. I don't think Big Mike's. I don't love him. That's just personal preference, so I don't.
Everyone else has Shane at 5.
Well, that's everybody else.
I'm just asking.
I just don't. I don't know. I mean, he's good, but I just don't think he's that good. And I guess some.
I think I like Shane's Cortland and Addison pick more than I like the Williams pick.
Yeah, maybe looking at it now, Cortland's probably a better pick because Judy's going to be out, so he probably is the number 1 there for a while. I don't know. I think Addison will probably get a lot of work, but yeah, maybe I probably messed this up putting him so low. Boyd, CD is going to be fine. Evans, like we've said, who knows what Tampa's going to be on offense. He's probably better off playing Kirk as his wide receiver 2. I think he'll be probably the 2 option there, maybe even 1, like I said, above Ridley. We'll see. I don't know how Ridley really took. How was he out a whole year last year? So who knows if he is even really that ready. Connor at 9. I mean, DK, Keenan, they're both old. Well, I guess DK's not that old, but Keenan's old. DK's DK. He'll be fine.
Like 25 years old.
Well, he's just, I feel like he's been around forever, and I don't know. Hollywood, yeah, like Hill said, I don't want any part of anybody on Arizona. And then I don't really know much about Zay Flowers, so, but I feel like Baltimore's got a ton of options there, so I don't know how he really fits in. 8, Corey, kind of like we've said there, he's got young. Like we don't know what Garrett's going to be. Christian Watson, I don't think is going to be that great. I don't think Jordan Love's going to be really anything. Ayuk, there's a lot of options there too, but he's hit or miss. Cooks, I think Cooks has potential to be pretty good, and then I don't really know Tank Dell. We'll see. The Trains, Amon-Ra, I love that pick. Deontay, I think, has a lot of upside. Yeah, I think he went all last year without scoring a touchdown, so and he had a decent year. So get him a couple tuds, he'll be fine. Judy, I've kind of already talked about. I didn't really realize he was hurt, but I think when he comes back and plays, he'll be fine. Thomas, like I said earlier at the very beginning, I think he's got a lot of potential to be my best pick. I think if he stays healthy and gets in a connection with Derek Carr, he could explode. Elijah Moore, Lazard, Mooney, Gallup, all kind of, well, I guess not Gallup, but the first 5, 6, and 7 there, all wide receiver 2s on their team, who have potential, I guess, to play for a flex. Nothing more than that, though. The Boats, Tyreek, good pick. I think he's top 5, maybe wide receiver. He's getting older, though. I think D-Hop could actually have a decent year. We'll see how they use him in the offense. Tannehill, I guess, is going to start there, but so don't love that, but that could probably be his only knock. Lockett, like Hill said, or somebody said, and he's boomer bust, but he's solid, I guess. Odell, who knows? Rondale, nothing to do with Arizona. And then Tyler Boyd, he's the 4th option there. No thanks. Carnivores, Diggs and Smith, that's a good 1-2. Pickens, yeah, the hype on him is too much. Slow down. Juju's is going to suck. Quentin Johnson could maybe be all right. And then Claypool I don't drop him. Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, that's a good one too. DJ Moore, I don't know. I'm not sold on him yet. He sucked last year with Carolina when he didn't have a quarterback. And I mean, Justin Fields is
And he
he's a
still doesn't have a
quarterback, but he
quarterback.
can't throw it. He can't throw
Yeah.
it. So
It's
I don't think
run
DJ
heavy
Moore's,
Yeah.
you know,
Don't know why you would trade
don't love that.
him for Russell Wilson. I don't know why you would do
that. Drake London has some upside, I guess, but again, he doesn't have a quarterback either. So good luck. And then JSN, if he gets healthy, he could be a nice pick. Sneeze at 3. Yeah, that's again going back to Cup being hurt. I probably may put him lower than this, but I'm not in love with Debo. I had him last year when once they got CMC, he kind of fell off big time. I guess he was hurt a little bit too, but I wouldn't be thrilled to have him as my wide receiver 2. But Ridley has a lot of potential. I think he'll be good. Thielen, no, and then MVS, no thanks.
that. You have Hills by far the highest.
Yeah, AJ Brown's gonna be great. Amari Cooper, I think I liked his Deshaun pick, so I think they're gonna find a nice connection. I think Cooper's gonna have a big year.
Yeah, that's a nice
Sky
stack.
Moore, say it again, sorry.
That's a nice stack.
What's the stat?
Stack QB wide receiver.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said stat. Sky Moore, there's too many. I don't want to say options, but like there's too many options in KC. I don't think. I mean, he'll be okay, maybe. I think I put him this high because I like Gabe Davis a lot. He's going to be good. I think Josh likes throwing to him. He's the number 2, I'd say, in Buffalo. So I think that's got a lot of potential flex play there. Pass on Doobs, however you say it. One fantasy team. This is a good set of receivers here. The first 3, Jefferson, Waddle, McLaurin. Those you can play all 3 of them every week, and not bat an eye at it. Pittman. Yeah, we'll see how Richardson is, but I don't think he's. I mean, he's a nice pick. He's a good football player, but not fantasy wise. Traylon Burks, he's gonna stink. I think. I don't think Tannehill's gonna be anything. I think he'll end up getting benched, and they'll bring in one of the other 3 quarterbacks they got. And then Jacoby Myers. I mean, if you want to play him, but he's not. I don't even think he's ownable or needs to be owned. All right, so let's go to quarterback, tight end. Myself last. I don't know. I didn't want to be like a homer, I guess, but Kirk and Evan, they're both pretty average. No depth or anything like that. I don't know. Didn't love those picks, so put myself last. Burrow's gonna be fine if he's healthy. And when I ranked these, I think I did like basically the starting quarterback and starting tight end. I didn't really look at like all the depth and all that other stuff. So it's kind of like basically how's your 2 gonna do versus these other 2. The Musgrave, I don't even know who that is. He'll probably be terrible. Sneeze, Herbert, and Komet. Herbert's gonna be good. Komet's gonna be horrible. That's why he's low. Like the Komet's bad is gonna be more bad than Herbert's good. So Jacob's fantasy team, Josh Allen's going to be fine. He's solid, probably the best fantasy quarterback in the league. Njoku, horrible. Horrible. Was that a real one? Because that was perfectly timed. Horrible.
I don't know why everybody's so high on this year. Like he's been around for
Njoku?
He's been around for 6 years and never done a damn fucking thing.
He's probably like tight end 15.
But why?
Because of Deshaun.
What the fuck has Deshaun done?
He throws to the tight end. He like you had those Jordan Akins type guys in Houston. They were relevant.
Yeah, that were like 6'6" and 320.
Well, the joke is big.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, we'll see.
He's for sure big.
We'll see.
But I agree. He's I don't think he's gonna be special.
8 Corey. I like Lawrence. Like I said earlier, I think could be a sleeper for the MVP. Pitts, hasn't proved himself at all. I would hate owning him. 7 Schmidt. Yeah, Mahomes is Mahomes, but I think Freiermuth brings him down a ton here. That's why I have him so low. 6 Bustas. And again, I'm just doing the starters here because I mean he's never going to play Daniel Jones. I mean, I guess he's a decent backup, but whatever. 6 Boyd. Rodgers, I think he's going to be a little bit better than we think. And Kittle, if he stays healthy, Kittle's very good. So stay healthy, and that's a good starting 2 there. Jeff at 5. Dak's not a good quarterback, but he's a good fantasy quarterback. So
he slangs that thing, huh?
Yeah, Dak does slang that thing. Hawkinson, I don't know why Connor's so low on him. I think he's going to be very good. I think he's going to be their go-to red zone target.
Number 2
in Minnesota. 4 Connor. Is this the lowest? Do I have you the lowest?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's partially because I think Waller's getting older. I guess he is probably really the only target there and for the Giants. I don't fully trust Danny Dimes to throw it to him the best. But Hurts is great. That's a good pick. 3 Hills. I think, like I've already said, I'm very high on Deshaun. I think he'll have a good year. And then Andrews is clear-cut tight end 2, so that's a good duo. Lamar or Gary with Lamar and Goddard. I had him last year. He got hurt. I talked a lot of shit on him, but he's Lamar's former MVP, so he's Lamar. He'll be good. Goddard will be fine. Yeah, I like that duo. And then first, Mushbaugh, Fields, and Kelsey. I mean, there's no better 2. Combo-wise, there's no better 2 on the list here. So that's why he's at 1. All right. We can go into our overall rankings now. I don't know how we want to do this. Maybe just
throw them up there.
Just kind of talk through them. I don't know how we talk through them, but all right. So overall, running backs, Gary's last. 11, Mushbaugh. 10, Fisher. And I don't know if Connor, if you have data or something, maybe you can somehow talk through this. But 9, Corey.
No, you could just go through these.
8, Cameron. He'll probably bitch a storm about being overall ranked 8.
Cameron should be 11. honestly.
John 7.
I'm not trying to be funny. He just should be.
Connor at 6. Shane at 5. Jeff at 4. Hills at 3. Boyd at 2. And then myself at 1.
I will say there's a big drop off between Jeff and Shane, so there's a clear top 4. Jeff, Hillsman, Bustes, and Teeps train.
Yeah, it's a good solid 4 teams there for running backs, so that would make sense.
Like Fisher's team and Zach's team feel a little bit underrated for what they are. Specifically Fisher's team. I feel like Fisher has 3 RB2s on his team.
I think David Montgomery is going to struggle to get inside the top 24.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think he might score 8 touchdowns.
I don't know that James Conner is going to, I mean, he'll maybe get some first quarter work, but they're going to be losing in a ton of games and have to throw it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know.
And Miles Sanders might suck too, because Carolina might suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think they'll be decent. Anyways, all right.
That's fair.
Receivers. Jeff at last, obviously. No surprise there. Corey at 11. John at 10. Connor at 9. Bustes at 8. Teeps Train at 7. Holy Schmidt at 6. Hills at 5. Carnivores at 4. Monta's Inferno at 3. Sunday Sneeze at 2. And then Fisher at 1.
Yeah, and the rankings here showed a big drop off after number 3. So a clear top 3. And Fisher's wide receiver ranking was the highest consensus ranking at any position. So the rankers think Fisher's wideouts are pretty good.
That's fair because
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said,
running backs hard.
Yeah, like I said, those top 3 there, Jefferson, Waddle, McLaurin, you can slot those guys in each week and not worry about it. All right. Quarterback tight ends, John at 12. Tied for 10th, Cameron and myself.
He's gonna be livid.
Yeah, he is. 9 is Corey. Tied for 7th is Fisher and Jeff. So the Fisher boys tied for 7th. 6th, Bustas. 5th, Holy Schmidt. 4th, Clouser Carnivores. 3, Hillsman Heroics. 2, Mushbaugh. And 1, Connor. I think this is also a pretty fair list.
Yeah, I would put personally I'd put Zach in front of Connor.
I would too. I mean, that's how I had it in my rankings,
but that's just nitpicking. I mean, John's team, John's tight end is just atrocious. Cameron's tight end is just, I mean, I think he's touchdown heavy. I don't think he's between the 20s guy. I don't think he's going to score a lot of or get a lot of yards, but I think he'll score a lot of touchdowns. Fisher's quarterback is absolutely saving him in this.
yeah, if he had any other quarterback in this, he'd almost be 12 or 11.
Behind John, yeah. Because Burrow is going to be good. I mean,
same thing. Yeah, same thing with Shane's quarterback, of course. But, yeah.
All right, so overall, with all positions combined, last place, Corey.
Sorry.
There you can see his averages for each position. 11, John. 10, Jeff.
9, Sneeze.
9, Gary. 8, Sneeze.
Yes.
And 7, myself. 6th. So our first playoff spot, if this stands correct. Shane. Oh, there's some bad editing.
Jesus Christ! What the
Yeah,
fuck? Is
that is. I'll take the blame there.
I'm just fucking with
He was just holding us in suspense.
Yeah, tied for fourth, Fish and Connor.
I'll take it.
30. The Bustas. Every time I was clicking around making these slides and seeing those freaking that Bustas logo, I wanted to put like 6 F minuses.
So angry.
Hate it. I hate it. And then number 1, Hills. Well done, Hills.
Yep.
Good draft.
just a well-rounded
See
team
how
right there.
the team
Well-rounded.
plays.
But
There you
Hills's normal MO is
Tank the
lose the
draft,
first few
go
weeks.
get a waiver pickup.
Yeah, go get those waiver guys.
That's an unsung art of fantasy football is
In this league, yeah.
playing the waiver
Well,
wire.
That move doesn't play off because remember he's the Colts of fantasy football.
Yeah. They're not known for their drafting, so this is a breakthrough year for the Heroics.
I mean, this is I mentioned it out loud. This is the coldest I've come since I've won my first 2 championships. So maybe that's what I need to do, just come in cold.
Teams, did you include each team's least favorite? Because we already talked about Hills is in everybody's favorites based on rankings. Did you include?
No, I did not. This is the last slide.
Okay. Well, just to throw it out there, obviously Jeff is my least favorite ranked team. Hills, Corey is his least favorite team based on his rankings. Sneeze, his least favorite is John. And then Teebs had 3, Ty, John, Corey, and Cameron.
Well, we're all pretty consistent at least.
Yeah.
Well,
Any other closing thoughts?
No, that was well done, Teebs.
Yeah, we'll have to come back again and do a end of the year and see how all these stacked up. I'm sure
Yeah.
some of these teams aren't going to go.
Absolutely.
It's not going to go in perfect order. There'll be injuries and whatnot. So
I'm certainly looking forward to end of the year kind of renaissance and see how we
maybe
fared.
we won't. Maybe
I'd
we
be
won't
down to
have it
do
go
a
3 hours, but
I'd be down to do a weekly recap with whoever can join.
of like each team's game or whatever.
Yeah,
going
just
through
like the
smart
matchups.
line.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had time, it'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Be a good
see.
time.
That'll be an offline discussion.
Maybe a little quicker than 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we're pushing 2:45 right now.
Yeah.
All right. I'll stop this, and if we want to talk, we can.
Yeah, that sounds good.